All right, good evening. Welcome to the Air Conservation Commission meeting. It is February 11th, 2016, here in beautiful Air Town Hall. Please join us in a pledge of allegiance to our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Any changes to the agenda?
Nope.
All right. It is approximately 7:15. Let's reopen our public hearing for DEP file number 100-0387.
Do you have to confirm the agenda or anything?
Oh,
Move to confirm the agenda.
excellent. All in favor say confirmed. Confirmed. It's much more fun than normal. Great. All right. Let's reopen our public hearing for DEP file number 100-0387, Bruce Wheeler Willers Development. You guys didn't finish this last week?
Actually, Takashi made a point of saying that since you two weren't here, it would be nice to try to make a group out of whatever decision came up.
Sure.
And then Takashi's not here.
Given that it's going to be appealed either way, we thought your two signatures were particularly key.
Excellent. Well, and I apologize for not being able to make it last time, but our company decided to have our holiday party after the holidays when everyone could attend. So it was both sensible and difficult.
Good Chinese New Year time.
It didn't come up, but yeah, it could have been. Could have been.
Yeah, good evening. Just to recap quickly, and so from the hearing before, we discussed the mitigation area. So we did expand it to have it to 2-to-1, and on top of it, we compensated this 4,408 square feet. So means it's total 3 times of the mitigation area going to be used for the units we are proposing to relocate. So in that case, it's really it will meet the DEP standard 310 CMF 58.5G. So rather than the F, which is 1-to-1 restoration. So let's just get it so we don't have any dispute with. I know we can go either one, but I guess this is more consistent with the original approval.
No, and based on the multiple discussions we had the last couple times, this was the big sticking point, as I know Duncan had brought up. He was looking for this to meet the criteria, and now you meet the criteria.
Right.
Is there anything else to your application?
No, I don't think there's anything else new.
Mr. Brown, did you have any comments before we move on?
Are you going to put the mitigation area in with trees under a schedule like you had for the other areas?
We didn't change any of those schedules. That's all still.
Well, I meant for the new areas, that's going to have its own schedule because it is larger than the largest one that you showed on the sheet before, Area 2.
What do you mean larger? So I mean the square footage is still compared with the original proposal, which is 50,000 square feet. So this is only counting for 13,000 square feet. It's not larger than.
Right. Do you have a schedule for trees being planted and things like that?
So there was if I may, so there was a schedule for the first.
Yeah.
And I thought during one of the other meetings we said that we would carry the same schedule for the other areas.
Right.
There was a point where we were talking about the replication areas and we just said use the same schedule throughout. I thought that was a point you were good with.
Okay, but this is a larger area, so there's going to be more trees, etc.
Well, it's a larger area with, if you will, it's the same footprint repeated 3 times, so the schedule will be repeated 3 times.
Right.
Okay.
I may be forgetting, but I thought we covered that in a previous meeting.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I was told last time that they weren't going to do the same type of thing. They were going to just take out the invasive vegetation and leave the larger trees that were there, etc. And not really plant more maples and more of the schedule for the Area 3.
Any individual trees, if we can save, we will save, just to, will be have a credit, but basically you have to plan in the area with the patterns, so the spacing of shrubs, as original.
Okay, so there'll be 3 areas then, behind the proposed building, along.
Yeah, whatever the original one we did, mitigation, we are not proposing to take it out, except this 4,408 square feet.
Right,
The rest of it, whatever is approved, need to be done, so.
okay, so the area 1 is gonna be reduced to 2,300 or whatever that, the difference was. So
Hold
that-
on, hold on. Please tell me what your point is, only because we've gone over this several times. And the idea was, we agreed that the area of mitigation needed to be replicated by 3 times based upon the criteria that we discussed, and so we've got that now. So where are you headed,
Okay,
sir?
I was told last week that they weren't gonna plant anything in a schedule, and they hadn't proposed a schedule for the new area. And that's what I was concerned was, whether they have come up with a table for area 3, area 3, and it's gonna take, 10 maples, 14 oaks, that type of thing, and I haven't seen anything that says that yet. So I'm pointing out that there are 3 mitigation areas now, one behind the proposed.
Right.
The one along the pond
Mhm.
was the second area that was shown on the other plan, and that'll be the same. And now there's a 3rd mitigation area in the proposed area that he's got in orange, I guess it is, green and orange,
Right.
can't quite see. And that would be a 3rd table in my mind that would kind of outline how many of each of the species were gonna be planted in there. And they haven't come up with that yet.
So there was a table for the first section based
Yeah.
on square footage.
Right.
So if we're 3 times the square footage, and maybe I'm misremembering, I thought we just said that the additional mitigation areas would have the same proportion of trees planted based upon the separate areas. I thought we said when we had the first mitigation area, that had a schedule, and therefore all other mitigation areas would follow the same schedule. That's what I thought we discussed that at a back point. Let me rephrase it. Do you have a problem if that's what we do going
No,
forward?
No, that's what I think. So
Are you speaking
actually,
about
let's
dates?
extend it out.
Are you speaking about like calendar dates or about a planting mixture?
No, I think he's referring to, if I may, he's referring to the original mitigation area had 10 maples and 4 blueberry bushes,
Right.
and therefore it was for this square footage. And so therefore, as we triple that square footage, it would be triple those numbers of
Yeah, I
plantings.
just want to make sure that particular word wasn't,
No,
Yeah.
is that what we're on track with? Okay,
Yeah,
So-
basically relocate this one to there, and you have original planning will be triple.
So can I just clarify, so maybe the issue is that on this map, you only have area 1 and area 2, so maybe could the map be revised to include area 3 as well? So it's in print?
so what I would probably recommend is that as part of our special conditions, we note that the schedule of plantings that was provided for the first area be replicated in the other areas.
In 3 times.
That way, because tonight's our last meeting. And so there's no need to revise. We've already covered the revision of the revision of the revision of the revision of the revision. So this is the best plan. And we can include it in the special condition so it meets Mr. Brown's. In fact, I'll even note per Mr. Brown, if that was as requested by Mr. Brown, that was the suggestion. So.
And then the second question I had was the obligation to maintain those areas as mitigation areas, I believe is 2 years before we can get the final certificate of compliance. So those have to be maintained. And the question I had was, is the proponent for the subdivision going to maintain those, or is the association going to have to maintain those for the 2 years before we get the certificate?
Well, I guess at this point, we're only dealing with the applicant, so the applicant would be responsible for that area.
I believe Duchesne said 2 weeks ago that you guys would be maintaining it anyways.
We were responsible for it.
Right.
It's part of our permit.
Exactly, that's exactly.
At this point, I don't have any question about that. That we have an applicant, the applicant has requested a specific task, and as part of the order of conditions, it would be their responsibility to maintain. Yes.
Brian had suggested 2 weeks ago that maybe this time we include a time element for work starting and completed this proposed mitigation area, especially since it's not involved in any nearby construction. I thought that would be a good idea.
I think that makes sense. So in this particular case, the assumption is that if you were to move forward, you would be excavating in the spring, correct?
I think so. Was that a good time to do it?
For the invasive species part, we discussed it because we don't want to really get an excavator there to excavate anything, like a significant disturbance, rather than using the cut and the touch pane with the Roundup.
Okay,
So then you don't have to dig in all the roots out.
right.
Actually, it's very hard to dig in all the roots out, but there always remain some. So that's my experience. The best time is kind of like in the late fall, like in late September to do that cutting, because all the plants kind of retracting the juicy back to their roots. So that's the best time to kill them, which was implemented by the Wildlife Society in the Framingham Garden in the Woods. So we used it for many sites. I went back, they find that that's the best time, most effective one. Otherwise, we don't kill them, they're coming back. So.
In the plantings, and we can do plantings in the fall as well. It's a good time to do plantings.
Yeah, it'd be the best time.
In September, I think it was still a good time to plant. So.
Oh, best time to plant.
Yeah.
Okay,
So then some kind of condition, like if you guys want to come up with the schedule and the plan and all that, I can write the conditions simply to say, you're going to submit something and we're going to approve it or disapprove it or comment on it, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
And then you
by
can,
end of September.
yeah, and then you can craft that.
so the idea would be if you put the schedule together based upon your specific items that we're outlining, we can make it a special condition. We can just add it as a special condition for the plantings.
Okay.
We'll say plantings per schedule
Right.
in part 39, and then part 40, schedule for plantings and for cutting of invasives.
Right.
And then that way, and then we'll also include a schedule for a visit, potentially the beginning of November, with hopefully no snow and the ability to go and check over the area where the work has been done.
Right. Okay.
So schedule for the work and a schedule for the visit in November.
Right, and then we have two growing season to check, to verify the success of mitigation.
Right, which puts you into 2018.
Right.
Do you have anything else, Mr. Brown? Okay. So at this point, do you have any questions, Jess? George?
Jess, for their benefit, do you want to restate your idea from last week about how the process goes forward?
Oh, what I had said was sort of building off the Bill Daniels philosophy. One of the things was
That
going
can't
through
be
my
good.
mind that, no, but that this is going to get appealed one way or the other. And that what was going through my mind was if we approved it, I'm going to get this all messed up, but if we approved it and the abutters appeal, and if the state turns it down, I guess, then, or,
If the state would disagree with us.
yeah, disagrees,
Mhm.
well, if, there was one of the ways, I'm blanking on exactly how I said it.
Keep going, you're doing fine.
But if the state issued a superseding order,
Mhm.
then we get shut out of the
Process.
supervisory process. So it's,
Well,
if-
not so much the supervisory process, but we get shut out of any special conditions that the state enacted.
right. So if we turned it down and the applicants appealed and the state issues a superseding order, our input is more limited, so in terms of, and I think you've said that in the past. So.
Sure. I think probably the best thing for us to do is probably, in this particular case, would be to go forward. So we've covered all the bases,
Yeah.
and with multiple meetings to make sure that everything was addressed. The best bet at this point would be to go forward and then upon the appeal, write to Mr. Bellino, tell him why we made the special conditions that we made, that the applicant was in agreement that those were the best ways to deal with any of the other work, and that we would respectfully request that in the superseding order conditions that those were at least maintained,
Right.
and that we look forward to any kind of
Yeah.
supervisory role through the process.
Yeah.
Seems like the smartest thing to do. All right, thank you. Did you have anything else to add, Brian?
No, just making sure that, the forward process is understood by all parties and, we're good. So you guys all know what you're getting into with a yay or a nay choice.
Well, and that's why we went to the level that we did and covered all the things that we did, so. All right, I would accept a motion to to approve this notice of intent and issue the order of conditions for DEP file number 100-0387.
So moved.
Seconded.
You need to close the hearing as well.
After I'm done, sure. I'll tell you all about it.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so see. So, Mr. Brown, what we typically do at this part is that we issue the boilerplate order of conditions to the applicant. The applicant provides any other feedback, we provide feedback, and then once the boilerplate order of conditions has been finalized, then we would close the hearing and issue the formal order of conditions.
That's the one on top.
I was just checking through. Sometimes it jogs the memory. And I've lost one of your paper clips.
That's okay, I've got more.
I've got one. Need a spare?
That's a nice one.
All right, so at this time, we'll continue the public hearing to our next meeting, which is on February 25th. We will request, as per the discussion during the meeting, that if you have any other input as far as the time element. So at this point, our special condition would read that the replication would happen in the fall of 2016, and that we would have a visit in November of 2016. So we just need to add that as a special condition onto our boilerplate conditions, please. And then we would have a separate condition just prior to those that says that each mitigation area would follow the same schedule of plants by square footage as the initial mitigation area. So if we can add those two, we should be covered. All right. You do not need to be here on the 25th if we can pass the information back and forth by email, but if you'd like to appear, that's certainly fine. But at this point, I would accept a motion to continue this public hearing to February 25th.
So moved.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night. All right, I have Ayer 1 Solar here.
Did we get the RDA?
Yeah. I think, do I have the only RDA? Do I give you, do you have a copy of this in your folder there?
I thought I have one.
And we have the check already. And we already have the check for the newspaper.
Excellent.
That's all taken care of there.
All right, so let's open this public meeting for the RDA for Ayer Solar 1. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Nick Paulin. I'm with Goldsmith Preston Ringwell. Nice to see you all again. Nice to meet you, Brian. We're here for an RDA. Also with me is Rohit, who's the representative for the solar company, and Calvin Moore, who you all know. So the application before you tonight is an RDA for the construction of the physical panels of the solar farm. They're located on the northern side of the existing power lines. There's two separate arrays. There's a northern array and a southern array, as we're calling it. Some of the pretty colors on the map here, just so that you know, is the green would be the limit of clearing, The blue would be your 100-foot buffer. The red would, or pink would be limit of works and things. There's two applications. This project is coming in two applications. This is RDA just for the construction of the solar panels themselves. The access to those panels will be coming in a notice of intent after a couple other things get worked out. The site plan and the subdivision for that access has already been filed with the planning board. As far as we know, the next hearing, they're willing to act on that. There's no huge outstanding issues. Getting back to this specific application, as you can see, we filed an RDA because the limit on the resource areas in the buffer zone is very limited as far as the construction of the two solar arrays. All work is happening within the outer 50 feet of the 100-foot buffer for a large wetland on the northern side of the property. There is wetlands on the southern side of the property. Again, that's all area and work that's going to be coming to you under a notice of intent for the access to the panels. Overall, total work within the 50-foot buffer, or the 100-foot buffer, excuse me, totals about just under 28,000 square feet. Of that 28,000, actual earthwork disturbance of the ground is only 6,000. The other area of disturbance from the 100-foot buffer is hatched here. That's actually just the clearance so that we can kind of get the shadows off of the proposed panels. There's three areas that make up the 6,000 of actual limit of disturbance in the buffer zone. That's this one area here, a small area here, and another area up here. 1,600 square feet, 2,000 square feet, 2,400 square feet. And what that will involve is actually minimal grading, changing the slope just for access and things like that around the panels. Also, in the limit of the yellows, there's a stone trench to handle runoff. Characteristics kind of changed. It's wooded now, will be cleared, which will go to two areas. One area, the southern part, will come down to a low depression basin, as we'll call it. The northern side sheet flows into another proposed basin. So all increased runoff is, contained, handled. Existing flow patterns are generally maintained. That is really the crux of it. So, we'd request negative determination, -3, to construct the plan before you as proposed. And if we believe in doing so, we'll have no impacts to the resource areas. I can certainly try to answer any other questions that you might have. I know I went pretty quick for you.
Well, I guess I'm still trying to make sure that I understand. So, often an RDA doesn't have. Did I misunderstand your 28,000 square feet in the buffer zone?
There's 28,000 disturbance within the outer 50 feet of the buffer zone. Again, these parcels are, what's the total parcel, 50 acres?
Yeah.
Between the two. So of 50 times 40, that's a number I can't figure out in my head right now.
50 times 40 would be 200,000, or 20,000 rather. So, okay. So first off, I just want to make sure that I understand.
Yep.
So what is the access to the area now if you need to file an NOI?
So the access that is before the planning board is the gravel. Right now there's a gravel access coming up across the wetlands. That's just off the page, I believe.
It's right, if I'm looking on page 2 of 7, it's in the bottom corner,
Yes.
right?
Yep. Right now, we're proposing to extend the pavement of Rosie Ave. That would be gated, and then continue the drive across those wetlands connecting to the existing gravel drive, which picks up where we're proposing our access to both arrays.
Okay, so this is the rail trail over here, right? On this
Yep.
bottom corner.
Yep.
Okay, So if that's north, then this is me heading into Groton. This area over here, okay, so Ken Wood, this is the family that came to us about
August Wood.
right, August Wood.
Maybe-
Okay.
Maybe this will help you if we're larger.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to put it together in my head because we walked to this area with them. Is this the beaver dam?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where the flooded manhole cover is over there.
Yes.
Where's the beaver dam?
Where the trail is. Isn't this the beaver dam right here?
Oh.
Not that I'm aware of, no. I believe the beaver dam and the trail are two separate things.
I guess I'm just not remembering it properly. So we walked this area. So we walked this area several times with August Wood, Christine. Christine. So we walked it with Christine and her husband, and then afterwards we had another walk, probably 2 years ago, with Sullivan from Beaver Deceiver. What was the name of his company? Beaver Solutions.
Yeah.
Callahan.
Callahan? Callahan, that's right.
Brian Callahan?
Different Irish name.
Yeah.
Yes, Mike.
Mike, okay.
And so this is actually one of the areas that we talked about with the town to put a beaver deceiver in because that dam is so high and they need to lower it to, in fact, what they need to do is pull the dam apart at the top enough with Callahan in order to figure out where the level needs to be so he knows where to set it so that they can expose that manhole cover. So that's why I thought, I swear this is right where the beaver dam is, right? If that's
So-
Rosewood.
So we spoke recently as of this afternoon to Mark from the DPW, and he had mentioned that they have not done what you're talking about with the beaver dam adjustments, but what they've done is with Mr. Callahan is done a couple of trappings, or put the traps out in the beginning of spring and in recently this past fall. And so far nothing nothing came in. So Mr. Callahan's opinion as of, after twice doing the trappings, that this may be abandoned / dead area of where maybe no existing beavers are really present.
But you should probably also expect future beavers, but that's why they're doing a separate NOI, because that's gonna be a whole complication, that's gonna be a separate creature, and they had to do this for the project separately, both for planning reasons and because there's a tax credit that expired this week, and because they got this in ahead of time, that's why they're doing this before they're doing the access.
Okay.
The access is going to be an NOI?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Because they have to build a decent culvert or bridge or
And
something.
the NOI, the access to the NOI would be, obviously, separate applicant would be the actual landowner applicant.
Right.
Because,
And can I get the spelling of your name?
yeah, ROHIT,
H-I-T.
last name, GARG.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So I come off of Rosewood. I pass in through here. We get under the power company.
Yep.
And you guys are on the side of that or under that?
The
Just to the side.
drive's fully enclosed, but all of the solar array is outside of that easement. Are you looking for the easement on that plan?
No, I'm just trying to, quite frankly, when you start telling me we're gonna be 28,000 feet inside the buffer, it doesn't feel like an RDA anymore. So I'm trying to make sure that I understand it
Yep,
so that I can ask the right questions. So green was your limit of clearing,
that's correct.
okay? What was pink again?
The limit of work,
Limit of work. All right. So you've got to clear the trees back in order to do this over here.
correct?
We have one resource over here. We have the resource over here.
Yes,
We've got a real strong slope down to this resource on this side.
correct. That resource area that you just mentioned, that entire resource area and buffer zone, we're proposing under the notice of intent.
Right. But up here, so what are we doing to make sure that our runoff from up here doesn't end up down there? We've got a
Silt
a
fence
swale.
and a swale, yes.
Well, I'm also just concerned about the sheet flow afterwards.
Yep.
Because it's going to hit those panels and drop and drip and run.
Yep. So the northern area, there is a swale on the western side. And it's also minimal grading to sheet flow across and through a finger of vegetation that's remaining into the depression, which is right in the center of your
Yep.
thickness.
Yep, so what happens over here? How are we diverting any sheet flow from over here to this direction? Because it looks like it's just gonna run right down to the,
So, a pink highlighter appeared to run out.
yep,
There's a gravel trench
okay.
starting here, coming down,
Oh, stone diaphragm,
Yep.
okay.
which will also be backed by a silk fence during construction.
Okay, so to make sure that it all flows in the right way, we've got a stone diaphragm on this side, we've got a swale over here, and then, so what do we have here? Is this going to be, is this part of a passageway?
That's the access, gravel
Okay,
access.
so this is where the road is gonna be.
That's correct.
Right, so on this page, it's not drawn in. I got it. So here I've got my existing contours. And here I've got the change for the road. Okay, so the new road comes through. And so over to here, you've got one pathway over to this side,
That's correct.
transformer pad here. You've got this one comes over and runs all the way down to here.
Correct.
Okay. Another transformer pad. So what is the, this is all overheads?
There is overhead, starting from the first transformer pad on the northern side,
Yep.
coming down along the length of the gravel to connect to an existing pole.
So that's where our interconnection point is. So we're not trying to bring the poles through the wetland back the access road.
Right.
That's where we found where the interconnection point
Well,
is.
not to mention, this is a little tiny dinky street. I can't imagine there's anywhere for you to take all this to.
So that's the reason why we have to have that access road all the way down there.
Okay, so we have a road here, we have a road here. This is all pitched down. And you've got this area.
And when we say road, it's not gonna be really like a paved road, please. It's gonna be a more of a gravel road, so.
No, I'm just trying to get a feel for, so as soon as you open it, you own it. So the question is, what do you do with the water that starts
Yeah, I
there?
understand. I just want, gravel treats water differently than paved, so I just
Right.
wanna make sure.
So for the southern array, the gravel drive is actually running atop a ridge.
Okay,
With all the work being on the northern side, there is more extensive grading on the southern side. There is also a gravel diaphragm along the entire limit of work, dumping water into an existing, we're going to kind of formalize what's already kind of functioning as a depression in the lower right of the page as you're looking at it.
okay.
And again, that will be all defined by silt fence and whatnot during construction. Both areas will be totally enclosed with chain link fence to kind of further define the limit of work and whatnot.
All right, so our topo's down here. This makes sense. Topo this way is headed that way and this way.
Correct.
Got the stone diaphragm. So what does your stone diaphragm look like?
It's on 707.
Yep.
It ranges from 1.5 to 2 feet wide and a minimum of 12 inches deep. Bottom right.
So is there any reason to put pipe in that to help with help it conduct water in a way you want it to?
Is there a reason? Probably not.
Well, the ones that I've seen where people did a curtain drain, we installed pipe at the bottom so that the water hit the diaphragm area and then traveled to wherever it was we wanted it to go.
We can understand that. That's kind of jumping back to the characteristics of the runoff. Really, the stone diaphragm is used to collect and direct water to an area to make up for the change in the runoff coefficients of the area. Truthfully, the panels themselves, you know, they're not pervious, so I'm not even gonna try to say that. However, they function more like a roof than impervious surface. So really, we're just trying to do a balancing act of any increased runoff, retaining it and directing it in a fashion. There's no hydrocarbons or anything else like that that we're trying to treat to.
No, that makes sense.
Do you have a question, Joyce? I saw a pen. Hold on.
All right, so from here down to the bottom is a drop of 20 feet.
Thereabouts. And again, we're dealing with multiple acres.
So you're gonna end up having to truck in an awful lot of fill.
No. It's more moving it around.
So that's 257.
What are you looking at? Well, we're also cutting in this area, taking the 60 back. Area, so it's generally balanced. I mean, I'm not, you know, the different type of materials will certainly have to come into control. I wouldn't classify it as a gravel operation or anything like that.
Okay, so to be clear, the access road is NOI.
Correct.
Your application tonight, and I guess this is my only concern, is we're using the same plan for both. So-
Yeah.
Well, so if I were to reference this plan, it shows the access road on it, so that's my concern.
Okay, I understand.
With the access road, I apologize, but the NOI, the NOI will show coming off of Rosewood. The plan here does not show coming off of Rosewood. So it'll be more of a greater detail of the.
No, I understand. It's actually worse. This actually shows the part that we would want to have under the NOI. So that's my point. So we would have to be very specific that the road is not included in it. And I just don't want there to be any confusion afterwards. Do we have stations on the road?
So to further clarify that, yes, we do.
Okay.
But could I make a
No, please
suggestion?
do.
The RDA is granted for the northern wetland. All work in the southern wetland has to come under jurisdiction.
Okay. So,
That would go from this, basically the split in the gravel.
right, at 1800?
Yeah, 18, yes.
So, is there any plan to start work before the road is done? Before the NOI is completed?
No.
Okay.
No, the timeframes that need to start now are more a permit to go get another permit to go get another permit to go
Okay.
get money to get a permit to get money to get a permit.
No, okay. So, to be exceptionally clear, we're talking about, and interesting, this is called the south array. So the north and south array areas off the north wetland and road work down to station 1800 are the only parts of this application under the RDA.
Correct.
Okay. And part of that includes the detention basin and the other detention basin, which effectively you're just going to help out.
Correct.
The stone curtain trench, or stone, stone diaphragm. All right, and then, since we're going to be so significantly into the buffer, these posts are just set. How are the posts set? This has a number 1 depth to be driven by field geotechnical engineer. 7 of 7. Page 7 of 7. It shows the post with a number 1 next to it.
I can't hear you.
The panels
Yeah,
themselves.
so we basically, they get driven in.
Just driven in
Yes.
posts.
I-beams, metal, wood,
They're metal.
They're metal.
Okay.
And what's the depth? of
Typically
the
not
driveway?
high beams, they're more like a rod.
Rod.
Okay. So they get driven down in, and then you have a cap on the top that supports the panel and a lower piece?
So it's kind of, yeah, I think it's basically, kind of need to think of an easel, basically.
Yep.
Actually very close to an easel type. Basically, just imagine something thicker, goes straight down into the ground,
Mhm.
and then this portion here is popped up, and then basically the panels are either going to be, most likely, they're basically this type of portrait, and then you have another one on top. And then that's.
Then there's a kicker that holds
And
the
there's a typically between 25 to 30 degree angle on them.
Okay. Jess, do you have any questions?
What's the range of the depth of the posts?
It would depend on what they're driving into.
Like, do you have a general minimum depth
I don't know, I mean, I would probably be like between 5 and, I think it's probably like 10 feet, 15 feet. Again, I don't wanna,
Well, frost is at 4, and they probably want to make sure that they don't heave around, so.
So I guess the only other question is what happens if you hit ledge and you can't drive a post?
Well, ledge is pretty, ledge doesn't usually heave, right?
It doesn't?
So,
Doesn't?
Yeah, that's more of the person. I'm sure there's a science to it when they're, the amount of pneumatic pressure they have to put to drive it in.
so that, I mean,
Unfortunately, I'm
again,
sorry.
we will be doing we will be probably doing a geotechnical in certain areas, just to understand if we're gonna hit ledge. There are a couple solutions, if we're hitting, we don't foresee hitting ledge everywhere, in just maybe a couple spots. If we start seeing that, we typically try to move around the racks, and this is part of the construction time, is when we do that, we try to move around the racks a little bit this way, or span them a little bit different to go around the ledge. If not, there may be one or two spots they would have to use the use of a screw type.
Right.
Instead of driving, we screw.
Oh, so I was wondering, because we,
Bill, if I may, that area's been well-known for many years that it's all sand up to go up there.
I just want to make sure we're covered because, so the other application that came through, one of the reasons that we talked about it when we walked it with them, which was very similar to this application, and the main concern that we had at the time was, what do you do with all the dirt? And they said, well, we have a solution. They do a screw type that goes in, so actually there is no disturbance of the soil. The screw goes in and packs in. And we said, what happens when you hit rock? And they said, the tip of that screw is designed to literally chew through the rock. We said, really? They said, yup. And so I went and I called a buddy of mine who drills wells for a living, and he said that he was familiar with the type of equipment, and the fact that they had done anchors like that, bigger ones, using their drilling equipment, Bart Cushing up in New Hampshire. So that kind of system will allow you to install in pretty much anything. As long as you guys are hitting sand, that's fine. I guess the concern is if you don't hit sand, the only ways that I know of to take care of that is to start digging trenches and pouring concrete, or to do individual post by concrete. But something like this with individual post by concrete would kill you, cost-wise. So the question is, what do you do? So
There's flexibility in the racks, and what he said. And when he said move them around, it's still.
I mean, that's the good thing about these types of things. You can span them a little bit differently, put a little bit different design for tension, for strength, if we hit something like that.
sure.
And it's, lots of parts of Massachusetts have a lot of ledge/rock.
And then when you mentioned move them around, it's just within the limit of area. It's not.
Yeah.
No, I understand. All right. Do you have any other questions, Jess? George?
Well, first off, my drawings only go up to 6 of 6.
When did you get it?
They were sitting here when I came in.
That's unfortunate. I'm sure you're missing a good thing.
Oh, Lord.
Does it say 2016, January 2016?
Yeah.
How many do you have?
I've got 7. You want mine?
So wait a sec, yours says 6 of 6, not 6 of 7? That's odd.
Can I see the title?
How about you? 7?
So
What is
just
this,
to clarify, when this was initially delivered, it was delivered as a set of 2 plans. And then they said, hey, we need a few more, and so they brought over the other, separately. And so whoever did the print job left the page off.
Well,
No, that's a
no,
different
it's an
set.
actual 6 of 6, not 6 of 7, with a missing page of 7.
Yeah.
It's a 6 of 6, there is no 7. Incidentally, there's no 25 or 13 either, so.
Yeah. And page 6 says approval by the Barry Planning Board.
Damn it, you caught us.
So I'm not sure what happened to that.
That's the engineer's fault.
Are there any other towns?
There's cover in this meeting too.
Maybe there's a copy right there that you could, if you want me to look at.
Okay.
Was Doug Miller supposed to be here tonight?
Yeah. No.
I'm not sure what that
Yeah,
copy is.
which one did Taka she get?
You got 7.
It's
Look
just
at you,
George.
lucky penny, huh?
So these are the originals that returned in.
Well, so here's the
So
good
we-
news, is
we,
Takashi's not here.
But that was what it was, the golden secret.
Yeah.
Alright, so here, give me that, we'll just recycle the old one.
Yeah.
That's George's.
This is George's, yeah.
Well, it was,
It was.
right.
These are getting,
So,
This is yours?
yeah. You're gonna give that back to me
Okay,
after, and I'll
so-
stick it upstairs.
All right, before we don't go too far, George.
what's the final surface between the panels going to look like, the ground? Vegetated?
I'm sorry. I
Is
didn't
the
understand.
ground going to be vegetated around the panels?
Yeah, so typically we just seed them with grass, type seeding, again, low type grass, and we come in there once in a while, just for what's called mowing the grass.
I'm just curious in terms of like buffer at the edge of, the solar. Would there be a possibility to do, some low bush plantings, just to have a nice buffer between
Between,
the solar array and, I think, the edge of the wetland?
Well, for aesthetics.
I don't know, for wildlife, aesthetics,
Well,
drainage,
The
there are a number of
area
benefits.
that's outside the limit that will be disturbed, the trees are just gonna be cut. They're not gonna be stumped, the stumps are gonna be left alone.
Uh-huh.
And then, every 5 years or so, they might go out there to, just make sure there's nothing that's growing up that will cause a shadow, but,
Yeah.
anything that's there growing now, it will just allow it to keep going.
Okay, so how tall does something have to be to create a shadow?
About 5 years growth.
And how high is that?
so, I mean, it depends on where it's located, but typically, if it's casting a shadow here, we may go longer because it would go over 8 to 10 feet.
Uh-huh.
And then at that point, it may start casting a shadow, depends on where it is now. This portion here, this is south facing. I don't foresee a lot of clearing required. Obviously, you'll come once in a while, maybe just, most of the constant clearing, maybe again every 5-6 years again, would be just this portion right here because that causes a little bit more shadow to the south.
Yeah.
Here, I don't foresee too much constant clearing. Again, we have a O&M plan that typically comes once a year, easily just to look at the growth, look at the fence, everything else, just to make sure everything's there. And in 5 years, if we don't see a lot of saplings growing or something like that, that's causing a shadow, we wouldn't do it.
Yeah. So the chain link fence, how wide are the openings? Are they wide enough for like amphibians and turtles to migrate through?
But yeah, it's just a typical.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the wildlife here.
No, it's
Because
just a
they tend to
typical-
go down from highland to the lowland to, yeah.
It's not a special. Fence.
Yeah, and just to add on to that question, what's the point of the fence?
I'm sorry?
The point of the fence is to keep people out, or to keep deer out, or to
Well, it's to keep,
keep the panels in?
yeah,
Well-
they walk away. No, it's actually, go ahead. I mean,
Yeah, it's a safety thing as well as vandalism. We're generating electricity, so there are things that we don't want to touch. Because you can see danger, keep out, no trespassing signs are going to be on it. So it's, you don't want people going around there, but there isn't a significant investment to get this in there.
Like you said, it's more of a protective thing for one, for people coming in. bigger animals, being amphibians and stuff like that, they can get into the area as well. But we really just want to protect everyone.
So the picture of the fence shows that there's no pipe at the bottom securing the fabric. Is that your plan?
I'm gonna say yeah. Just because I see that on the detail as well.
So Bonnie, so to your point, if I was a turtle, and there's no pipe on the bottom where the fabric is, it is potentially possible to go under the fence, as opposed to a fence that is designed with a pipe that rides right down at grade.
Yep, okay.
I know that it's, I hope it doesn't say barrier anywhere on there, but I know that we've used this in probably about 6 or 7 towns. That actually is a question that they asked for. I think that I'm trying to remember what the distance is of typically that fence is. I think it's like 2 inches, 2 inches.
6 inches, 6?
No.
No.
No, that's a depth.
Oh, that's the depth of the
Plus or
pipe.
minus 2-inch diamond mesh.
Typically, we try to do around 2 inches, but in certain areas where there's prevalent turtle habitat, we typically work with NHESP, and then we give typically less than 6 inch.
All right, so hold on one sec. So we just talked about driven posts so that we're minimizing disturbance, but the fence posts are shown in concrete. Is that just the gate, or is that every post?
Typically, I think we put it in mostly in the gate area.
That one's gonna have to have an answer.
Yeah, the detail does show concrete everywhere. I'd have to rely on Ruby's expertise on how they actually get installed. Do you drive the posts and the fences, or you just hire the fence guy?
I mean, I'm just going back to one of the other projects I know that we did, what I did, and if I recall, we did mostly concrete in, the gated areas, like the open gate areas, and maybe a couple spots that were requiring for security purposes. I don't recall being,
Every post.
every post. And if there is, when we're in our here, I think, where's the fence?
Fences, actually right down along the edge
Yeah,
of the
so I
drive.
think you're more concerned about if there's any disturbance of the fence within the buffer, correct?
Correct.
So let's see where the fence is here.
It's right over.
Well, I'm having a hard time picking it out. I
Oh,
see
yeah.
there's a dashed line here.
This one right here.
Is this the fence?
The fence is right here.
Which page now?
Well, I'm on page 3.
The fence has a thin black line that is a 0. So, for example, it's right between the 253, 254 contour.
So this line right here is fence,
Yes,
and then it comes over here.
yes,
Okay, so it's even further. So it's on the edge of your limit of work.
correct.
So to put it in perspective, the fence with the digging for the post holes is the thing that's the farthest into the buffer zone.
In some portions, yes. Here, you're outside the buffer zone. Here, you're in the buffer zone. And it's,
Maybe 2, 3 posts.
yeah, no, it's gonna be
No.
more than that.
I can't.
So it's 2-3 feet behind, but yes, that is the furthest limit into the buffer zone as you come around.
Well, and then you come back down around the bottom,
Yep.
keep going.
And then I start losing
And then
it.
it comes
and
back
then
in
I found
again.
it, and then it comes out. So here, it's up against the stone trench again. Here, we're outside the buffer zone. Here, we're in the buffer zone. Here, we start coming around to go down around the basin to come up along the path. That looks like a person's face.
And then turn down here at the corner,
Correct. And come up along.
alongside the road. So the road is outside the fence.
Correct.
Okay, and how about on this side over here? So chain link fence, so it looks like it, okay, so I'm gonna start at the pad.
Yep.
right there. So if I go counterclockwise, comes around, goes up, then comes and runs along your, on the inside of your, in the inside of your
Yep.
trench,
Yep.
keeps coming, comes to the tree line, turns left, so all this is outside of the buffer,
Correct.
comes around,
To the corner,
comes around,
down to the pad.
okay.
So we're outside the buffer there.
Yep.
So I had the hardest time picking this out, but this is it here. You can see this line that runs along here,
That's the fence.
that's the fence.
Can you come to it?
Too many notations.
Yep.
Anybody want to go?
No, I'm not gonna forget it. Okay, so. Okay. Did you have any thoughts on this, Brian? Did you have a chance to look this over?
Yeah, so the question I've got has to do with essentially why bother coming to us in the sense of like, you've got like 10 panels here, 3 panels here, 2 panels there, why can't you just tack them onto the other end of the same thing?
So I can answer your question about why we couldn't tack on here, and I'll just say, we're trying to maximize basically the amount of size, basically based on the connection point that we've applied for. The reason why we can't tack on here is because also there's some spacing of the fence that we need to go between, have some more car path down here in case the trucks need to go for servicing. And the second thing is also, basically that's the reason why we couldn't add on to certain spots of the design, basically. But we could work, that's the reason why we came here.
And also,
I mean,
for example, in this portion here, we can't go this way away from the buffer because the dash line that Bill saw is actually the limit of the corridor easement for the power lines themselves. That even though it's an easement, the power company lawyers are pretty good, so they act like they own it.
Okay.
They've been defending it for over 100 years, so.
Correct.
And then, so the earth moving that's going on there, is that moving earth in or moving earth out,
It's approximately balanced, but to construct the gravel drive, that's a different type of material. So there is going to be some import of materials.
Sorry, not the whole thing, just
Oh.
in the the yellow bits here where.
Yeah. So down here, this is cut. This is cut as well. We're actually going to be pulling kind of this existing slope there. Be mellowing it out and blend it in with this that we're proposing here.
And I think another reason why it's just based on the design of the topo, these areas needed to get cut a little bit just to allow us to manage the water and so forth. So that's why we have to cut a little bit anyway. So even if we remove the panels outside of the area, we still needed to probably do some work here just to help with the water flow.
Mhm.
Control and basically water control. So if you're already going in there, that's why they had the 10, 15 panels.
And then, just sort of to tag on to Bonnie's question about shade, is there a sense of, how tall the trees are gonna be here and where that shadow is gonna end up? The height of midsummer on the longest day, what's the longest shadow?
Yeah, so we typically, I could give you a little just design issues, things we typically design depending on where it is. Mostly all these panels are facing south, so the way that's down this way. So obviously the tree clearing is over here because it casts the shadow. This one here, we're not as concerned, like I was saying earlier, is because this is more on the side of the panel, and based on because we're northern hemisphere, so the sun is more on the south. So the way the casting of the shadows will affect will be more during in early morning, and that shadow here will be maybe reflecting a little bit more. Again, the heights of these trees I think are like 100 feet, so we're not again too concerned from here. But here, if it was a 100-foot tree, we are more concerned because that'll definitely cast up 100 feet.
The source of the question essentially is whether or not the 50-foot, clearing is sort of like, yeah, 50 feet ought to do it, or if, it really is specific and perhaps you only need 25 feet, but it's easier to just say 50 feet down the line.
And I can say to you is that we did look at that piece of the clearing, because as you can see is that it's not 50 feet just down the line. It's 50,
Right, and
60.
here,
I mean, you can see that, the panels are here, so you can see that we looked at how, here's little bit. Here, as I said, we did a little bit of a bigger swath here because we know that's going to cost the shadow of these panels here. And again, as we thinned it out as much as possible over on this portion here, because we knew it's not going to cast a shadow. And then here, I think we just did a little bit more clearing because of the, again, I think water control piece of it. So we did try to look at that. That's reasoning why here we left even the clearing here. People were asking me, why don't we just clear all this? Well, what's the purpose of clearing it if it's not going to affect us?
This is work you don't need to do.
No, not just work you to do, but it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
All right, so I just did a quick calculation. There's 55 cubic yards of material that's going to come out of this trench at a minimum at 1.5, which puts this one at probably another 20 or 30. We've got fence posts, so we're not holding you up because you can't start work anyway, correct?
We can't start work.
We can't start work until we get the NOI. However,
Right.
we're looking for, I'm going to say sign off, for lack of a better term, so that we can start a number of other processes.
The only thing I'm looking for at this point, so I know what you're going to do for silt fence to protect the areas. You're going to be pulling material out of those. You're pulling a significant amount of material out of your trenches and hauling in stone in order to do those. Okay? So the very first thing you're going to do is cut all the trees down. Second thing you're going to do is probably start your earthwork and put those trenches in. And before that, of course, you'll have silt fence, which we'd have to come out and inspect. What I would like before the work is started is information on the fence. So I'm assuming that in general, the fence posts are going to be driven. This is 1,000 feet. So 8 foot, I don't think you even get 10 foot on chain link fence, do you? You can do 8? Something like that?
The height?
No, with
Depth, distance between posts.
So yeah, there might be every fourth that might need a sonnet or something just for a moment.
Right. So in those particular cases, I just want to detail because all of them are outside of where your silt fence was going to be, unless I'm misunderstanding this.
Nope, you're not.
So at that point, what we're effectively saying is that we're going to cut the trees down, grade the area. That's all inside of the silt fence, but the fence is outside the silt fence, which means I want a detail for how we're going to deal with the posts. Because if you end up
excavated.
That are excavated.
Okay.
Because you're undoubtedly going to end up with an awful lot of them.
Yep.
Just based on the pure numbers of it. So as long as we have a plan for how to go forward on them, that's fine.
The detailed processes. Yep.
The best way is pull the soil out, move the soil off. Then it's not even an issue.
Yep.
So, and most of those guys who do that stuff, so I don't know, are you familiar with the work we did with Epic up the street? They put a fence in, so they get their water off the property over here. And so we worked with them to do a fence all the way around. And they ended up, most of their posts were driven posts. And we worked with them on, basically what to do to take the material out as they did each post hole. The nice thing about an application like this is as soon as you're done and the construction is done and the grass grows up, that's it. It effectively becomes habitat for different animals like bunnies. And
Yeah, I mean, and we don't, we come to the site probably three times a year.
so what I would be looking for, if anyone has any other issues, I think we're clear on the RDA. Be looking for just a methodology on the fence and the fence install. I would love to say that it would come in with the NOI, but I'd like to see it just sent as a separate attachment for this RDA, since they are totally separate.
Yep.
So,
It'd certainly be a condition.
and then I think we're covered on the fence height. So, okay. Do you have paperwork, sir, for this? Or do I have the paperwork?
We both have some actually.
Can I have a copy?
That means I have the original.
I'm holding.
Yeah, that looks like it.
Thank you. Am I misreading this? This says that the original application said grading will be limited to only that needed to provide a usable footprint and all outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. Didn't we say we were in the buffer zone for grading?
There's one portion, yeah. There's one contour in this area.
Right.
It's in the 100-foot buffer.
Got a signature page?
Yeah. this is okay.
I think so.
And you don't have one? Oh, all right.
So we got 6 or 6. 6 or 7.
I'm not as lucky as George.
RDA. They're in here.
So while Brian's looking, so to be clear, let's make sure we cover what we talked about. So the first thing is just to further note that, excellent, thank you. So the first condition is that all work covered under this determination of applicability is from station 1800 and north. And that road work from 1800, station 1800 down is part of the NOI. That probably the best way for us to phrase it is that the fence installation detail from the fencing contractor to be provided prior to start of fence install. So in other words,
I even say silt fence inspection. That way you guys don't have it
perfect.
kicking around.
And that would be the fence
the silt fence.
Yeah, no, but this is for
Can you,
the, within the
can
buffer
you
zone, right?
paraphrase
Right,
that
but the
again?
detailing
No.
walls
I'm just making sure I don't miss any, I'm just making sure I don't miss any details.
Yeah, and,
at the time.
Because it's
okay,
none of it's hard, I just want to make sure that we don't forget it, that's all.
that's fine.
So-
I'd like to add one about the choice of grass. I don't know what grasses you guys are gonna choose, if it was just sort of a generic mix, or if you're gonna go for like a native seed kind of mixture.
Probably be like a New England meadow type stuff, something that doesn't grow too high, so that, you know, we can get a couple of mowings out of it. You know, it's not gonna be like blue or something like that.
Yeah, that's,
So why don't we do, so number one, so perfect, so number one, all work covered under this determination of applicability occurs on the road and in the panel area.
Yeah.
From station 18 plus 00 and north. All road work from station 18 plus 00 and below to be covered under a future NOI.
Yeah. I guess you just approve it.
It's on the plan, I just want to make sure we're totally clear. I don't want to hear later on that we approve
I'm
this
photocopying
stuff.
that before we go in there.
Well, you can read what-
because I can picture hearing it.
Have to write this
I'll
separate.
send it.
All right. Number two is that a fence detail from the fence company. That covers us from the fact that we don't have it tonight. Fence detail from the fence company for concrete post installation to be provided during silt fence inspection. And number three, seed mix specification to be provided during silt fence installation or inspection.
Provided, or do you want to review and approve?
Well, I figured why don't we start with provided and work from there. You want to do review and approve at that time?
Well, if you're gonna do the language, review and approve,
Why don't we do
Be-
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, revise that. Review.
Just to say, seed mix to be reviewed and approved during silt fence inspection. So now that we've stated all those things, I would accept a motion to issue a negative determination of applicability for the air solar project application. I don't really have a good,
Is there any,
One solar.
on Assessor's Map 3, Parcel 50, and Assessor's Map 3, Parcel 2.
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? Jeff, further discussion?
you guys don't have anything wrong with like a conservation mix from, or anything like that?
You know, I don't, and if you want to send those to Brian by email before the meeting, that would be the best way to do it.
Include some,
Maybe the full pull right from the distributor, that has
Yeah,
a
some-
percentage of what that.
Well, yeah,
It'd be nice-
I mean, again, I don't recall what we did.
it'd be nice to have something that attracts, certain
Like,
butterflies.
yeah,
I mean, there's-
ecological
you know,
value.
yeah,
kind of
We'll
game.
yeah.
find out
just to bring in
exactly.
more, a little
There's
more.
been types,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
been
this
doing
conservation
really
mix
different
Yeah.
ones.
is wildlife.
Mix,
Yeah.
combination, mixture with water and sort of.
Yeah, there's different uses.
There's different,
Yeah.
not just seed.
Yeah.
Any options you can provide would make life easier.
Just seed.
Just ask.
Water.
That
Yeah,
way-
brothers.
It would be best if they came in well before the silt fence
Yeah.
installation, so that
It comes
any
right,
potential
right.
discussion can
Yeah,
happen
more
at a time when it's better for you. Okay, so we have a negative determination of applicability motion on the table. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
It is.
Phil, I got my eye in there too.
Did you get one in there?
Yes, I did.
Nice.
So, Just a thought, if you do any investigating on the seed mixes, if you ever bumped into New England Rubble,
Sorry,
they
it's
do
okay.
pretty good seed mixes on grasses and other stuff, so.
Yeah,
Just
I'll
one.
find what the standard is, I apologize. I don't
So
know
look up
exactly.
Prairie Moon Nursery. My uncle runs it in Minnesota.
If you
Conflict of interest.
Yeah, a little conflict of
We're
interest there.
on camera.
Well, just take a look, because you get ideas, you get some ideas.
If you want to talk to them and have them send a 250-pound sample or something.
Yeah, 250 pound, that's like one
So
area of
basically,
one
I'm
section
gonna
of one
put
array.
this together with the paper,
Thank you.
double check
Thank you very much.
everything,
Okay.
and theoretically just mail it out. Once I get the conditions typed up nicely,
Okay.
everything's clean, and then you guys will get the original, and I will save a photocopy.
Okay, you don't scan it in, do you?
I can do that. I'll do all three probably.
Okay, if you don't mind.
Yeah, you'll get the email, but part of the rules, correct me if I'm wrong, is you have to receive the signed
Yeah.
signature with the ink.
Correct,
For it
and
to
then
be
who do you mail
kosher.
that to?
Whoever the applicant is.
That's
Can
me.
you let us know? And
Yeah.
we'll walk over.
Yeah,
we'll do a
so you
little-
don't have to
stretch
do a
out.
postage. The applicant is me,
Burn
he's got
some
my
calories.
address probably.
Yeah, so I'll
But if you
email
can,
it.
or you can, if you don't,
I'll
you
email
can
it
just
to
contact the
everybody.
guys here at Ayer that are right here.
And you're good with them just getting the.
The hand,
He has an
or
office in our
you call
office.
them and they'll come pick it up.
All right.
Ashley will come, one of somebody will come. Or if it's,
Yeah, if it works for you, it works for me.
yeah, that's perfect. And, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ray.
Cool.
Have a good night, Nick.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So now we get to the fast stuff.
7:45, public meeting, RDA, MBTA commuter rail.
Oh,
Why
yeah,
is this
that's just
back?
me, a placeholder. MBTA is not here. I don't know what they're gonna do. That's after MBTA.
Oh, okay. All right, so they're not here. Did they
They
say?
haven't said a word to me since they were last in, and I've just got this as a placeholder if they decide to keep this up. But
Didn't we continued it?
yeah.
Didn't we continue it to a time certain?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, when did we
So-
continue it to?
Oh, last meeting and then.
Did we continue it to
and
this
then we
meeting?
continued it to this meeting.
Okay,
It's just placeholder continuation.
Yeah.
well, but we have to continue at each meeting or else it actually literally runs out and they have to
Yeah.
re-advertise. So, number one, please send her an email and tell her if we don't hear from her, we're gonna let it run out and she's gonna have to re-advertise.
Okay.
Tell her we've continued it to February 25th. If we don't hear from her by then, it's done and she can start over. Especially when she tells us it's for signaling and it's for Wi-Fi. I would accept a motion to continue the RDA for MBTA commuter rail to our meeting on February 25th.
So,
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
all right.
Aye. Excellent. Okay. Next, request for certificate of compliance from Crabtree.
This is one of those from last time with the shell game properties.
Let's see.
And I went out and double checked this and just did the one at the one time without any shell games.
And
And
this is the real one?
that's the real one, and it lines up the way it should, and everything seems to be the way it should according to reality, as opposed to according to boilerplate conditions that were put on every single property the same way.
Okay. So, you feel comfortable that this property, you were able to view it prior to the snow?
I viewed it, prior to begin with, and then prior to this snowstorm, I also got out there, and now that I didn't have three of them and trying to figure out which was which and matching my numbers, it's a lot easier to be like, yep,
Oh,
yep,
one.
yep, good, done.
Okay. So,
That's the one.
I was looking for the signature part.
Yeah, that's the one at the bottom of the hill with the upslope to the rocks with the drainage easement behind the rocks.
They actually had rocks.
They actually have rocks.
Not the rocks that are in the wrong place, the actual rocks.
Right.
Right.
I would accept a motion to issue a certificate of compliance to Ayer, to Crabtree Development for 23 Hemlock Drive, also known as map 36, parcel 103.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Take that back so I don't lose it, please. Actually, wait a second. Not so fast. Let's do that.
I like this paperclip system. I'm feeling good about it.
It's driving me insane, but I'm living with it.
You can sign that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, enforcement order 78 Sandy Pond. So I saw the planting plan, which I assume is right here.
Mm-hmm. And Rob and I have been talking quite a bit, and things feel pretty good. And last week, Takashi felt pretty good about it too, and chatting with Takashi about how to lift the enforcement order, and we just came up with some letter language, and he actually did an edit. No, not even an edit. He just said, "Yeah, this is good." You know, add
Who's he?
Takashi.
Takashi, yeah.
Add dates and addresses and CCs and just,
Yeah.
formalize the language.
Okay. What am I missing?
What are you looking for?
The trees,
Which ones?
the new one.
I don't think they're on there. I think they're in the bank planting notes. It's all in the details because they're not planting any trees.
Live
Well, they're
cuttings
doing the-
for live stakes shall be 1.5 to 1.5 inches in diameter and 3 feet in length. Live cuttings for live stakes. Plant a minimum of 3 live stakes at each tree previously removed.
Is this news to you? You missed this chat?
He wasn't here.
He wasn't here.
This was our last
Oh,
meeting.
right. It wasn't the one before.
Buds on
Yeah.
stakes shall be oriented in an upward position. Basal end shall be tapered. You ever done this?
Yeah,
It works?
yeah.
And we figured,
It's a classic restoration technique for woodlands and stream banks and such. They're gonna put in 50, and these things grow like weeds from pieces of, you just cut branches, you stick them in the ground and grow roots.
and we figured, any sort of even large mortality event would still,
You'd still get at least full replacement of what was cut down,
Yeah.
if not double or triple if you're lucky. And then you get roots in the banks.
Just so we're clear, you do realize this means you're gonna have to cut some down, right? Because you're gonna plant a whole bunch, and then after a while, some will grow, and some will grow more, and you'll have to
Yeah.
cut some of them down. So
Or
what
just
you've created
cutting
is
them all
a,
down.
what you've created is a thinning plan.
Yeah, they have to make it that far first. But yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
If every single one grew, you'd have a wall. And, maybe some people like that, maybe some people don't.
I'm still reeling from the beaver trapping.
I was interested to
Well-
find out that hadn't come up before.
Which one? Which trapping? The one for the
Mark
project?
For
West by
DPW.
Rosewood, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, part of there's a sewer pipe that runs under there, I've heard.
It's
Yes.
underwater.
It's
But
underwater.
it's a huge thing, but it's
It's a huge
okay
deal,
because
right?
it doesn't leak. Because if it did, then there's a huge state requirement to take care of it. So what they did was they welded the cover shut.
Oh,
But it doesn't change the fact that it's a huge liability, like gigantic liability.
Yeah. And I had a chat with Mark this afternoon, actually, and he is looking for them, when they do the road, to basically take care of his problem for him in one manner or another.
Well,
So we'll see how that goes.
interestingly, the other side of that property, on the other side of the road, is where Calvin had put in an application to build a subdivision. And we did an ANRAD for that area. And that subdivision had a couple of minor problems. Number one, it was fought by the neighbors, but number two, it was all under 61. And so he was supposed to issue the town a right of first refusal, which he didn't do. So, but one of the things that Mr. Wetzel wanted was to continue a, hello?
Can I listen or?
Of
Oh, yeah.
course!
Sorry,
Please come
I
in.
don't want to be rude.
No.
You weren't being rude at all. Is there something on here you want to,
Yeah,
was there something on you want to talk about?
She's here for a COC.
He knows the story.
Excellent. Are you 3 Samantha Lane?
Yeah,
That's a very pretty name, 3.
thank you.
So, see, it was a joke because it's, never mind. All right, so, anyway, part of that application, Mark Wetzel was keen to work with Calvin to loop the water mains, because he's got 2 dead-end water mains, and he was really keen to loop those, and that was part of why he was okay with that application. So, I believe what we're saying here is that we have a tree planting plan that we found acceptable and discussed and hashed out and we're comfortable with, even though I don't believe it for 1 minute with these live stakes. We already have an enforcement order, because Jess is gonna be all upset when we cut them all down. Okay. Based on most recent revision, conservation satisfied concerns.
All right. Is it just you or do you want everybody to sign it?
I'm cool with it.
All right.
All right.
Is the next one coming down?
Thank you. You fib to me. You're not Samantha Lane. You're Kristen.
Yeah, but it's the house is on.
I got you now. Okay. So, Samantha Lane, put me in the ballpark.
Your great friend with the lumberyard in his front yard?
Just before you get to the town beach on the right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I didn't even know there was an open order of, 89.
Brian Hebb, yeah.
100
The whole
dash
road is an
89.
open order of conditions.
Wasn't that interesting?
And the order of conditions, from my perspective, is useless. We could close every single one of them right now. It wouldn't matter.
Well, it's 089.
Yeah.
So it was probably issued in 85, 86.
Technically, it's 0089. Just saying.
Technically, yeah.
Keep bringing it. Okay, so.
So
Kristen,
I
can
did
you-
a drive-by, just for the sake of there's nothing there, but there's nothing in the conditions for me to inspect anyway.
Perfect. So, Kristen, as I drive up the street, you're on the left or the right?
It's a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
On the very last house on the cul-de-sac, it's yellow, so
Okay.
it's right next to the woods.
Gotcha. Okay, and the resource is down the farthest possible distance away from Kristen's house.
It's not
Yeah.
even there. Yeah.
Okay.
Although you've got traffic cones in your yard?
The guy next door puts them there. He owns the land. There's all I don't know how many acres of land there. 10,
So
12.
that's his way of posting his land?
Yeah.
So-
He put up, and so people that, because we're trying to sell
Traffic
our
cones.
house, he put traffic. I took some of them down. I'm like, this looks like a red flag, like they're gonna build, and no one's building to my knowledge, so I took them
What you
down.
should probably do is walk over and say, can we take the traffic cones down during the open house and put them right back up after?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
He's not, I guess he wouldn't like that. They are still there, because you saw them, so I just sort of hid them behind trees, and
Yeah, they
they're
look like,
back. They're right back where he had them.
that was confusing.
Yeah, he did the cones.
And what's your name again?
Kristen, Kristen, Michaud, Michaud.
And you know it's okay because she pronounces it like it's supposed to be pronounced.
It's Michaud. My husband says Michaud, but
Michaud Michaud.
yeah.
We forgive him.
Right.
All right. So, does anybody have any questions about the property? I would accept a motion. Ooh. Forgot the smell. I would accept a
Somebody's
motion to
getting romantic
issue
on us here.
the certificate of
Spirit
compliance
Valentine's Day.
on 100-089.
And this is a partial.
It's a partial.
Partial certificate of compliance. Thank you, Jess, for the signature.
Constitute a full.
If the builder asked for it, the applicant,
Yeah.
if they came and asked for it, it would be a full, but this is sort of, it's surf essentially under the applicant, so she's only concerned about her property.
I'm trying to sell. I haven't sold it. We'll sell next week. This is like,
Yep.
Bonnie, like
Yep.
Pingree Hill now, we do individual orders of conditions for each house.
For this reason.
But it used to be, back in the old
Oh,
days,
that's right.
they would
We
do
should be doing
the
this
whole
in
project,
The whole
and
project
an
was-
individual house.
Yep.
You get partials of.
Okay.
Okay. So she is literally the farthest one away. The only wet that's happening near her is this hydrant. Okay. All right. So we have a motion on the table to issue the partial certificate of compliance. All in favor, say aye.
Wait.
Oh.
Did somebody move and somebody
Oh,
said?
no. Moved. Second.
Okay.
Keep it together, you.
Yeah.
It's not true. He barely moved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good luck with your house sale.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming in. One ancient application behind.
Are they still building on Singapore?
Oh, good lord, no.
No, 92. They were done in like 94.
So everything's done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I guess the builder can just walk away from it, you know, I have to pay to report it. I have to sell the house, so
Wow.
75
So I'm gonna give you guys this one, that's the next one, and I'm gonna go make a photocopy of this, and then hand this off to you.
Awesome, thanks, Brian.
Actually, yeah, issued by Ayer. On to 11.
Flood Law Office on Littleton Road.
Yeah, they're representing the actual person who may or may not be something shady, but they submitted the application.
So, did you move to Groton?
Yes, yeah.
Where is Fitch Road?
Fitchbridge, it's off 119, do you know where Riverdale Farm Stand is?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my street.
Oh, that's
So that-
nice.
That house here, we tried to sell it, but it's on the train.
Mm.
Fell through twice, the sale, like 15, 14 years ago. So we rented it. The lady trashed it, like head, top to bottom, trashed it.
Oh my.
So we spent all summer pulling up pea stained carpets, and she rented out rooms to bad people.
Oh
Made
my.
her leave, yeah, thousands of dollars later. So now we have it sold again. And I'm like, it can't fall through. This is attempt number 3 since we've owned it.
Do you have the,
Yeah.
the registry of deeds page?
Not
Like,
for-
right in front of you?
Not for hers.
No, not for hers. Well, can I have it for her? Can I have that one anyway?
We have to sign it.
We did sign it.
No, no.
I just signed it?
Yeah, you did.
You did.
This.
Yeah. Hers was underneath. I put it underneath it with the paper clips. You gave me a system. I followed the system. Is it under it? There's 2 pieces there. No, on the face there. Is it under that? I put all the paper that was with it back under the paper clips on the front of the page.
Right here?
Is it there? All right, well then use this one. That's what came with it, was just that stuff there.
Anyway.
Am I good? I just
Yeah,
want
you're good.
You're good. Run, run.
Oh, I have to fill this out.
Well, yeah. And then second, just to make sure, because you don't just get this. This isn't part of that. This is the part.
So I'm gonna go home and just I'll handwrite it all.
So, applicant is responsible for ensuring that it's certified it's recorded, registered deeds, and one land court, right?
Yeah.
So it's attached to that line and submit to the conservation commission. So this goes to, registry deeds will go fill out for you, or you fill it out and somebody does.
That's this one.
Properly, registry.
All right.
And we know when it's all clean.
So can I just fill this out right now?
Why is this-
Someone has to go to the registry first.
Right.
Littleton.
Okay.
Has been recorded at the registry.
Oh, okay, so it's proof got recorded, gotcha. So my lawyer has to probably help me do that, or the.
Where's
If you
Littleton
wanted to
Road?
register yourself, they help.
They
Littleton
would,
Road.
is that roll, is it one roll?
It's around Cambridge.
It's 2A.
Oh, it's 2A. Oh,
And they help me. I need to
Yeah,
remember, I
that's
just
right.
have to do that.
yeah.
All right, and then I just pay the phone fee. Gotcha.
Okay,
All right,
so-
Okay.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Thank
Have a
you.
great night. Good luck with
Thank
your
you,
house
Ryan.
sale.
Thanks so much.
All right, so Scott Hebb, James and Margaret Mullen.
Who are these people?
I'm just trying to figure this out. So this was apparently the original order of conditions from '94. Bob Eldridge. Well, they were lucky they had a quorum that night. They were missing James and Tom Poole, of all people.
Yeah, that one's a little stranger. There's nothing in the conditions that's, again, inspectable.
There's literally nothing in the conditions. So Scott Hebb did this for James and Margaret Mullen. It's at 117 Littleton Road. So
Right.
put me in the ballpark.
So you come down where actually the property that we just did the COC for, coming down, what is that? Pingree Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. It's sort of across the street and like 100 feet to the right.
Oh, okay. So it's on the side of the road by the, so literally I'm pretty much facing the billboard that's on the side of the road and the trucking operations that are across the way. Is this
No. This is the brick apartment building. So
Zodiac?
No.
No.
No, wait, no, what's that off? What's the other one called?
No, I think you're on the wrong side.
Littleton Line.
Yeah. So they're like two properties to the right of that brick building as you look down that Pingree Hill Road.
Is it the one that used to be the taxidermist? Yellow?
Yeah, there's a little barn there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he used to run a taxidermist shop out of there.
And they took that
Used to
property.
make people drive in a different way.
I believe that. The road down there looks funny. And supposedly they've subdivided that lot since this went in.
Really?
And so that house occupies the division furthest from the resource.
Okay.
And so there's apparently two more lots in there now that
How?
I don't know, because that's a bit of a hill in there coming off that backside of the road.
Yeah, there is.
But, as it stands, there's nothing in the order of conditions to hold up the COC.
No, absolutely not.
And
Marty Jelonsky.
It's just weird how it came in, because I really don't know who this is being issued to. The law office shouldn't be asking for it. There should be a property owner or representative or something. But
Well, I think they can represent the parcel because you don't register it to Scott Hebb at the Registry of Deeds. You register it to 117 Littleton Road at the Registry of Deeds.
Right.
So while I respect your concern for nefariousness,
yeah, they're kosher from a legal standpoint by far.
well, it's the flood law office from Lowell. So obviously it's not local.
And can you read that plan? Because I tried really hard. And some of
Well,
those
I can
lines
see this
kind of
much.
evaporated.
So there's their 100-foot minimum. So you know what they actually did? 43 feet. So what they really did was it was his sewer. Yeah, that's a D box. So what they did was they had sewer that came out of the house and out of the barn, went to a D box, and then went to a field in front of the house. And that's what they set at 100 feet. And in fact, they didn't. They said 100 feet, 50-foot minimum. So if this was an honest-to-goodness scale, where 1 inch equals 20, it's maybe 80 feet.
That's what.
So interestingly,
There, I knew it.
if this is right, this says, this is the road. It says there were the remains of an old stone foundation in the front. So if the septic was no longer in place, you could effectively cram other homes in what is the front yard today. It wouldn't be easy, but you could do
That
it.
sounds really.
Really?
Well, here's the interesting part. If they were to do that, at least one of them would be under our jurisdiction. This says 100-foot minimum to this box, and it's not 100 feet. That's not 5 inches.
Yeah.
So therefore, this area where the house would have to be, right, because you don't have all that much area to put two houses here, at least one of them, the clearing, the work would be within our jurisdiction based on this wetland flagging that happened back in 1998.
It's obviously
Which
not
is
on
now
this.
expanded because the beaver's down there.
Right, right, this is bigger now.
I think the division of the line, it's obviously not on this map, and it's not on anything I have. I think it actually runs like this, like the way the paper's cut. So there's actually a line here. I don't think they ran it this way.
You're saying it would be here?
Yeah, because they made 3 pieces.
Sweet bubbly Moses.
I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Stick around, have a whole bunch of them. All right. Yeah, all the way back to Sandville Contracting. That's Sandville too? Remember Sand Valley?
Yeah, from the,
Way over on the other side of town.
yeah.
Oh, that's creepy. All right. Yeah, this was really a septic plant and leaching field, which is the whole reason they came before. That's why they were there. So, assuming that none of that is in place anymore, or at least in operation. Did you drive down? Did you walk around?
I did not walk around. It was snow by then.
Okay. Based on the fact that this was for this, it was not to build the house. Actually, it was to build the house. Proposed 4-bedroom house, 43 feet. All right, I can say that that house has been there since 1998, so I'm willing to bet that the grass has grown in. It's a fair guess. Just based on the fact that I've driven by it 1,000 times and there's grass in the front, I'm willing to bet there's grass in the back.
They did take down the wetland flagging though.
You're kidding. I would accept a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for.
Partial,
Now, why is it partial?
because there's 3.
3 lots. Well, interestingly, the original application wasn't for 3 lots. So
Good question.
that kind of makes it tricky.
Oh,
Well, the others aren't part of it
right,
if they're not on this plan.
yeah.
Anything he did afterwards, all he did was actually muddy the waters, no pun intended, for the other applicants when they come forward.
Well, I
Because this will
suppose
show up on the deed.
It's at the discretion, of you guys, whether you want to, give what was asked for it, or, do it according to the way it should be done.
Did they write this in by hand?
No, that was me. Oh, actually, I don't know. Which one are you looking at? Yeah, that's my handwriting.
So how do you know that they asked for a partial? Did they email you?
Yeah. This was a noon on Tuesday email kind of thing.
Do you have the email?
Yeah, and I ought to have the printout of. Is the inside there? Did I print out the request that they sent in?
Hold on. I didn't see it, but let me look. The only reason I ask is I don't want to hear later on that we shouldn't have issued a partial, and we say, yeah, we should have. That's what they asked for. No, everything in here is ancient.
Yeah, because they did actually submit so what I did then, I saved it into my file system and I copied off of what they wrote.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So print it and stick it in this file, please, with this, so that later on no one wonders why we issued a partial when a partial wasn't the right thing to issue.
Fair enough.
At least in my,
Mhm.
I was going to say humble opinion, but I lie now. So, did anyone make a motion to issue the
So
partial
moved.
certificate?
Second.
Excellent. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. I feel like it's important, and yes, it just took 20 minutes to go through those 3, but I feel like we actually looked at them, paid attention to them, and made sure they were accurate. Like a win-win. Is this
I don't know
ISTAM?
how yeah. This is the whole file.
Okay.
We started this chat last week.
On purpose?
And my question to Takashi was, why is this never-ending order of conditions? Why don't we just
I know.
COC with the perpetuals? And he gave a fairly good explanation of that.
So, based on the fact that I remember this whole thing and the difficulty that this particular applicant has gone through in order to continue utilizing their dam, and the fact that it sprawls across between 2 towns, and the fact that I don't
read
know
through some of that
what.
file. It looked awful.
I don't know what could possibly be better than using water power in this way to generate energy. So, I remember the first 2 hearings that we went through with these. I would be willing to accept a motion to extend the order of conditions for 100-0321.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Anybody have any qualms?
For how long?
Well, that's an interesting question. Does it give us an option?
And what's the OOC number again?
0321.
I think it tops out at 3 years.
3?
I think. That's what I keep bumping into.
Well, that's interesting. 'Cause
You could do it for up to 3, I believe, right?
Well, what's on here, it says who issued on, for work at, recorded by, hereby extended to, and there's no date. Date can be no more than 3 years from the expiration date of the order of conditions of the latest extension. Only unexpired orders of conditions or extensions may be extended. Okay, so last extension was under the Mass Permit Extension Act of 2010.
Mm-hmm.
So
And-
it was extended until,
This year, until, I think, March is when it, no, maybe April. It's on the,
4/23.
yeah.
Okay, so we can extend this for 3 years beyond 4/23/2009, or 4/23/2015, which puts it at 4/23/2018. Any issue with me doing that?
See, 2015?
Oh, I'm sorry,
16?
16, so therefore 19. I haven't quite gotten over that yet. It's only February. Kicks in like June. Anyone have a problem with 2019?
Sounds good to me. Oh, did we vote?
No, that's why I'm putting it on here so we can vote.
Okay. I thought you were leaping ahead to sign.
No, because George said till when, and I looked it over to find the what, and then there's a date. So I put 4/23/2019. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
My signature hand's getting tired.
Just gonna slide that as opposed to throwing it.
Yeah, there's
Thank you.
some weight to that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Geosyntec draft report. So for the folks who were kind enough to send the information, and Jess was kind enough to do the write-up, I started to look at this last night. Thank you. I will get this out, not on Valentine's Day, but the day after. I will send it to him on the day after, and then you can all weigh in on what I send him. Unless you want to weigh in ahead of time.
No.
You sure?
Yep.
Meet me on Valentine's Day.
Best offer I got.
Well, actually, I'll tell you about it after we're off camera. Yes, dear.
So that's the 15th. 2/15.
And are you gonna send in the letter
Is it?
plus the edits? So the,
Did you, yeah.
So I read the letter, and I saw the things that were on there, and they were for a number of the places that we had talked about, especially the dollars.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to go back through, because the biggest thing that we had a concern with, if I recall, was the fact that it said, oh, go out and do this stuff when you can. And so I was going to go back and say, so really doesn't get it done for us. Can you give us some other information that points us in the direction of something we can measure to allow us to make decisions?
Right.
did you read Jess's version or did you read the edit that I tried on?
Yeah.
I probably read your version that you sent because it had the town seal at the top.
Okay. So there's two different versions. Mine was
My
the wordy,
goodness.
Mine was the wordy one, which
I read the
know
wordy
would
one.
Come to as a surprise.
I read the wordy one.
But it was good. For some things it's easier to edit out.
So
It's good.
here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back through it. I will send it out on. So is that actually Valentine's Day? No,
What,
Saturday's
14th?
Valentine's Day.
Sunday.
Sunday's Valentine's Day.
Oh, sugar. I'll be sending it on Valentine's Day.
You can't send anything on Sunday.
Of course I can.
You can email.
Saturday's the actual Valentine's Day, and Saturday night's date night.
So we will confirm with you
You'll see the email.
Monday. Oh, excellent.
And I'll copy you on my angry email to the TRX people. All right.
To the who?
Another discussion for after here.
Okay.
You don't have to write it down. Brian, do you have any updates? Oh, actually, I'm sorry, before you get into your updates, why don't we do approval of meeting minutes and the other items that we skipped past so quickly?
Tasha, she didn't want to do minutes.
Actually, before we do that, just to finish up Geosyntec,
Sure.
I've gotten several emails that you may or may not have read, but I've sent them to you. And what I did was double check all of the, how this would get paid.
Mm-hmm.
And I let them know that, we need the final product before we sign off. And then the CPC meets once a month and they need to sign off on this as well.
So I actually was thinking about that.
Why does CPC need to sign
Because
off?
they've signed off on all the other bills you paid for this.
Because some of the money is CPC, but not all of the money is CPC.
Oh. That's true, it's a percentage.
Well, I was downstairs having a chat with the ladies and they
Lisa?
went through,
And they went very conservative.
perhaps.
Yeah.
But they you know, they look through at least the past receipt, maybe not every single one, or and they have said to me that they would like to see the CPC signatures.
I completely agree that what their reaction to is with regard to the fact that it had been done that way in the past, but that isn't necessarily that it needed to be done in that way after a certain time. So we can go forward in that direction. However, it needs to at least be posited to them that if the CPC funds are no longer being expended for this part of the application, and there's no way they can be, because if we're at $85,000 and this is the last 16, and CPC funds were 30 at most, couldn't have even been.
Yeah. And then there was also the 10 that was really CPC but Pond and Dam.
Right? And then there was Mark's money, and then the rest of it was all from town meeting. So if the folks from CPC signed off on anything more than $50,000 up to this point, then they're all done.
Okay. The reason I bring this up simply is that, you know, they're getting a little frustrated and they'd like their cash.
I believe that.
And they have expressed a willingness to come and do some more pro bono presentations to whoever needs it, you know, a handful more chit-chat, presentation, you know, PowerPoints, whatever.
Well, let's send them their letter. Let's talk to them about the things that we're missing that we talked about. I'll be happy to express in the letter a short paragraph, which I will put right at the beginning, which is, thank you for your patience and our volunteer board.
And you've got a copy of letterhead?
I do. Are these PDFs?
No, those are, no, I sent you Word documents.
Did you send me Word? Okay,
Yeah.
I can work with that. Thank you for patience and our volunteer board. And I'll indicate that obviously with an expenditure of this size, that it was crucial to us that we get it right, which is why we went through such an extensive process reviewing it, which quite frankly isn't nearly as extensive as the process as they did creating it. So I'm sure we're right on track with the exact same timeframes. I'd be happy to mention that in the first paragraph. Did you have meeting minutes?
Yeah. So, yeah, Takashi didn't want to go through meeting minutes last week.
That Takashi, he's a nice guy, because he knew he'd be skipping this one.
Right. So now we go back to December.
Sweet bubbling Moses.
We have 3 sets.
Oh, now you just showed off.
One of them
It's a favorite.
One of them we deferred because we had that meeting that went to 11, our January meeting, our first January meeting.
Yeah, that was bigger than I saw coming.
I've forgotten.
So the first item that was on here was when we met with Cheryl Van Vieten, which I think you spelled wrong, but
Which one?
Van Vieten. Do you think there's a T in there? Let's call it.
Wait,
Let's call
is
it
that
good.
the MBTA?
No, that's the 5 Mechanic Street lady. 5 Mechanic Street extension with the beaver dam behind her house. So.
Did that go anywhere?
So I did. I went out and visited. I walked it with her. The problem that we had was the area is so overgrown with unbelievably thick pricker bushes. I couldn't get close enough to the dam to get a real view. So I kind of walked around the other side and I took a peek, and it's the same situation. It was hard to get down to where the dam is, but it was obvious from the frozen areas that this area was much higher than the area below. So there's either a very big sandbag in there or a dam. So we don't have quahogs, so I had to assume it was beavers. So then I went down to the other one that we had visited the last time, where the DPW had taken what has to be a 10-foot culvert pipe and ripped it open with a machine to dig out whatever was in the culvert pipe blocking it.
What's the street number on that?
5 Mechanic Street extension.
Okay.
And it's critical to note the extension because Mechanic Street
Right.
starts on the other side of the road. Then there's West Main Street, then there's a gigantic wetland, and then there's 5 Mechanic Street extension on the other side. Why it couldn't have gotten its own name actually bothered me for most of that morning, but I let it go. So, until just this minute, and now it's a hard knot in my stomach. I'll probably have to soften with gin. Anyway, the bigger issue is that that's non-Aquatius Brook. This is a perfect spot for us to engage Mr. Callahan to come in and put in another beaver deceiver. One of the primary reasons that this would be a great place for a beaver deceiver is this is the wetland that when it flooded the fire department years ago. And since it's handy to keep them open This would be
Fire department that they just sold, or the fire department that they have?
They have.
the one that they have, the one in operation today. This would be a great place, and so I couldn't remember how much money we had left
Lots.
from the Beaver money.
Oh, we have just lots of money in general because of, 4 or 5 months of
Yeah.
a fiscal year's salary being.
It'll all be gone, and we won't be able to touch it, and they'll take it away. Anyway, because it has to go back in the pot. There's no options. Doesn't get saved from year to year.
Right, which would mean this would be good time to buy a beaver deceiver.
Well, you know what? I don't know if we can use that money for Beaver Deceiver, can we?
Several times when I've asked about money, they've told me that it's kind of a no restrictions thing. Most of the money goes to salary, but it's not really any hard and fast restrictions.
Well, that's interesting, right? Because it's not for. So the way that we had money before to spend on a Beaver Deceiver, we went to town meeting and we said, hey, we just had some beaver problems in town, and we'd like to have $10,000 for future Beaver Deceiver work, so that we don't have to go ask for money at the time. And it was agreed upon. That was back in like 2008,
Yeah.
2007. Oh, for goodness sake.
What's a beaver deceiver go for?
Well, in this particular case, probably less than $2,000, probably $1,500 for one like this, where the access is easy and the area is really shallow. And
So it might be worth saving that money for future things.
yeah, and
spending
use
from
this right, come right out of the salary. So that's a fantastic idea. The other thought is that in the huge culvert pipe that the DPW ripped open with a machine, we can ask Mark if he has a problem with us doing a Beaver Deceiver there as well. I assume that at some point, see, the funny thing about it is it's so wide that you would think that the beavers wouldn't be attracted to the sound of running water through it, but for whatever reason, maybe they are. Maybe it generates that sound because of its shape. I don't know.
Yeah.
All I can say is that clearly it had been stuffed full of stuff in the past, and the DPW ripped it open with a machine to get at it. That's 3. And so it seems to make sense to let Mark know that that's another good place for us to put a Beaver Deceiver in.
I feel like you're playing the meow game.
Just making sure we're all clear on it. So, so I got when we went out there, it must have been 3-4 weeks ago. I met her on a Saturday morning, and then they were supposed to send me the Google Earth maps, and he sent them to me, I think probably last Saturday or something. I just haven't had a chance to get a Mark Wetzel email off. So on Valentine's Day, when I'm doing these, I will send the email to Mark primarily to ask him if he has a problem with us doing a Beaver Deceiver in that culvert, and if he doesn't, then we'll go ahead and we'll get Callahan to come in and take a look at this.
And on that note, when you're sending emails, maybe you want to send one to Lisa and just get clarification on funding.
Well, I want to make sure that he's okay with it, and then we'll probably go through Robert and ask Robert to ask Lisa.
Fair enough.
I think I have the spelling right. I'm just fixated.
I imagine you would be, but I'm just referencing the email that they sent me that doesn't look like this, so he probably doesn't know. All right. All right. There are 3 children at my house, most of them mine. So, Sophakis, right? I saw the email. I'm sure the hospital's been cleared. Willow Road to be appealed. Yes, this was the big night.
Which date are you at?
12:10. There's 3 pages of.
There've been a lot of big nights on this.
Big
notes. We're done with big
It's
notes.
so much for winter being quiet.
And then COC, and then Geosyntec. Yeah. Mandry Way. '95 Fitchburg Road, did they ever come to you about the permit for a 10,000 gallon tank of fuel oil? Probably in place.
But I also haven't received any of those circulations to go around town hall when the planning board gets something or somebody else gets something and there's nothing for them.
Sure.
Haven't been doing those lately?
No, I just haven't gotten one beyond that.
Yeah.
Have you been up to Borrego's property, to their solar?
Not since December. I've looked up the hill once or twice because we've been communicating with folks about how they've built that hill slope, and there were a couple of spots where they dug a new hole and then they didn't put up a protection. And, anyway, but when I did walk out the backside there, you know, there were one or two spots where the grade of the road kind of slipped into the silt fence, and the silt fence bowed, but it didn't break. Anyway, so no, I haven't been up through there lately.
Well, like a Belichick defense, you should probably charge them for cheating. All right. Anybody have any changes or additions or changes to the December 10th meeting minutes? I would accept a motion to approve the December 10th meeting minutes as listed, spelling included.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Next is 114.
Oh,
Yes.
we can't vote on last week's, or last meeting.
Why not?
You can. You're a quorum.
Oh, the two of us?
Oh, George wasn't there.
Oh,
Interesting.
Take it back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I took a swing by Family Dollar,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't tell anything. Couldn't tell it then, can't tell it now. There was too much snow on the ground, can't tell if the grass grew back in.
I was there before the grass came in, before the snow fell down.
Was the grass in?
Yeah. The thing that caught my eye that we discussed last week is they've got a bunch of trash back by the dumpsters that, you know,
You sure it's not just product?
No, I'm sure that it is because I spoke to somebody at Family Dollar who said they passed my concerns up the line, but they basically said it was trash that was there before Family Dollar went in and they left it there.
No, absolutely not. We were there.
What,
The lot was
there's a
cleared.
brick wall
Yeah.
and a bunch of like 55-gallon drum-looking like yellow plastic, clear plastic things, and just debris of various sorts. And it's all piled up there next to the dumpster, off of their curb, and on the slope that drips down into the small wetland pocket that's in there anyway. So I've got some polite inquiries involved at the moment. But, you know, would you like to perhaps
Ask.
not be polite?
What you should probably do is talk to Gabe and say you've got some polite inquiries in, and I guess the real question is, do they have a certificate of compliance? Are they all closed out from, rather an occupancy permit? Are they all closed out on his side? Was there any discussion about those barrels and what might possibly be in them and when they're being removed? He just might have some insight. He might also tell you that they have dirt in them or something else, but at least he might have some information.
Okay. So yeah, I'm trying to get that cleaned up so whatever it is doesn't end up in the isolated wetland pocket.
I believe there was a whole argument about that at the time. I don't think it appears as jurisdictional on our plan.
Yeah, the property line there is pretty severe. And apparently there's that drainage ditch has a big non-jurisdictional sign on it.
I wouldn't be surprised if they hung one. Did we ever hear from Mr. Snow with Ruth here? Has he talked to you about doing their work?
Nope. I did send them their paperwork, and they, what did they say? They said that there was some concern from the people they were working with about doing the work when the ground was frozen because they'd slip and fall. And I replied with, well, that was part of the deal. You have to do the work when the ground's frozen. And that was the end of that.
Stabilizers.
Well,
Or
actually,
microspike.
so I would assume on a slope like that, whether the ground is icy or whether the ground is muddy or whether the ground is dry, so people are going to have to tie off. It's a steep slope.
Yeah. So, at this point, it's been cold, and now there's snow, and, that, I suppose, from our perspective, could wait till, April, when the ground gets soft and spongy again? Or March, or next week, the way this winter's going.
No, it depends.
It's going to be -9 on Saturday, so.
It's gonna rain on Tuesday.
Right? Is it really?
It'll get
Oh,
70
come
on
on.
Wednesday.
Oh, that's not fair.
Freezing rain. Well, snow on Monday night, maybe turning to freezing rain.
Are you sure?
Nobody's sure.
I-
Son of a gun, rain on Tuesday. 45. So it's going to be, there's another 60-degree differential. So it's going to go from -9 on Saturday night to 45 degrees on Tuesday. And actually -8 on Sunday to 45 degrees on Tuesday.
That actually
So-
doesn't bother me so much as the fact that we just did that, where it was spring and then the next day it snowed.
And today it has fallen almost 25 degrees since lunchtime.
Mhm.
I want winter, like a regular, normal, even-keeled,
Yeah.
not so temperamental.
Yeah.
Remember when it used to
Those
snow?
were the old days.
All right, I distinctly remember the evening of 114, and it was just hideous. Did anybody go to the informational meeting on the 26th?
For what?
Bonnie.
Yes,
Zoning bylaw?
yes, I went.
Was it informative?
Somewhat. Yeah.
Well, I'll take that. Okay, I would accept a motion to approve the meeting minutes as written from January 14th, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Thanks, sir. Okay, do we have any accounts payable, Brian?
Nope.
Any announcements?
We've got all sorts of cool stuff to talk about.
Well, you have 18 minutes, go.
So, Lori from Pace sent the email today that I printed out and handed to you. That's nothing necessarily, from my perspective, that I have anything to say about, but just to point out you've got it. It seems really interesting, and I hadn't heard anything about some of what she was talking about. So that was news to me.
Da-da-da-da. What is she? The light green area on the figure on map 9 indicates sparse vegetation over the entire south post. It appears this area is currently forested. Is the intent to clear cut the forest?
Yeah, I think she may have misinterpreted the meaning of the map there, but whatever. She's involved in offering commentary on this particular plan, which, in one spot shows a new 5-acre parking lot down by the river.
Is that in Shirley?
For
In
Denver.
Shirley?
No, it's
Is it-
Devon.
Is that Ayer?
It's,
Oh.
well, technically it's Devon's, and so remember, there were 3 towns
Yeah.
chopped up. So that area is in what used to be Shirley. So if it's down by the river, I assume she's talking about when you go down where the area, they built a kiosk, bathrooms and stuff, and then never opened it. So if you go down, for instance, if you were to go down past the new movie studio,
Yeah.
okay, and the road winds around, and as it drops down on your left, there's a kiosk, and so they cleared the area, built a building, handicap ramps in, the whole business looked like it's a couple of bathrooms, and we weren't sure what it was for because they did it at least 3 years ago, and it's never opened. Then you go down the bottom of the hill, and you're under the overhead wires, and there's an area where you could pull in and park, and they built steps down to the river, and then they stopped. And so in the area where they would have put riprap so you could put your boats in, they never finished it. And in the area where you could get from the parking lot to the steps, they never finished it. So we've been wondering for 3 years what the heck they were thinking about. So I don't know if that's what she's referencing when she says mix of new buildings, open space, and new parking areas. Says you're removing many old buildings. So they're actually in the process of removing some buildings that I'm familiar with. And she asked if they've, investigate or mitigate lead paint and asbestos. We have to assume that it's being done under the standard permitting process. But I don't know what she means by 5.4 acre paved parking lot.
Yeah, that caught my attention as well. But I don't know. I haven't seen the plan. I haven't seen any of the things associated with what she's actually talking about.
Yeah, where'd the map come from?
That's probably the thing she's commenting on, but I don't have that.
Well, and also this is to M. Haynes, and then it's addressed to a Deborah Peters.
Yeah, I mean, the address list is fairly long. I think she's involving as many town officials as she can lay her email.
But what's interesting is she sends it to a Deborah Peters, but she sends it to an M. Haynes at QEPI.com. So she sends it to somebody else.
Anyway, informative,
Okay.
keeping up to date. The other intriguing thing that I already emailed out to you that I also give you a copy of to print out is the legal opinion about ticketing towers.
Yep, from KP.
And basically, I was right, which is nice. If we want, and I'm already trying to get some information from the district court on how to get you guys books of tickets if you wanted to, tag people for violations, and give you some teeth. The courthouse down the road here, they didn't know what I was talking about. They had no idea that that was something that conservation commissions did, and they passed me on to the administrative office. And I've been playing not so much phone tag, it's just phone call. Leave a message, try again.
You know what you should do? Contact MACC, tell them where we are. In fact, we dealt with them. They were one of the ones that told us at one of their meetings. Remember back in Lowell, in the what was it back then? It's owned by somebody else now. The bar.
I don't remember.
Wow. I didn't think you had that much. Up in Lowell, there was a brewery, and there was a meeting there probably in 2008, some way back when. And at that meeting, we met with an attorney who was with MACC. It was an MACC get-together, and he talked about how we could probably just do it under our bylaw. And we said, pretty much, are you sure? And at the time, it seemed wise for us to proceed cautiously based upon some of the strong feelings in town about the bylaw and some of the strong feelings about some of the people who might participate in the ticketing.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is very exciting at this time. I would reach out to MACC and say, I have this letter. Can you tell me what I do next?
Oh no, I know what to do next.
Well,
Like honestly, all
but
you
if
need
they're
is
not
the
helping
tickets.
you, right, if they're not helping you, they might say to you, oh, don't go to your local, go to this person in this courthouse, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they could probably point me to the right person.
They could probably point you to someone who could actually get you where you need to be as opposed to someone who's going to ignore you for as long as they
That's a good
possibly
point.
can.
The other interesting piece of this letter that's worth pointing out is that town council, while saying, oh yeah, the enforcement bylaw L3, you have power under that, you don't have power under your wetlands bylaw. Maybe we should give you power under your wetlands bylaw just to cover. And the other part of this printout is a suggested bit of language with which you could incorporate enforcement powers into the bylaw to double down on coverage for make sure there's no legal loophole by accident. What I was amused by is the fact that he obviously hasn't read some of the material I sent him, because state law says that commissions cannot impose penalties beyond $100, and he's saying $100 for the first violation, $200 for the second, and $300 for the third. However, under the L3 enforcement bylaw, if there's no penalty laid out, then the penalty's up to $300.
Well, here's an interesting question. So that's where he got his 300. However, it would seem to make sense to just mimic the DEP's fee schedule, which, if I remember correctly, was $100 a day until
Right.
you corrected the problem.
Right, and that's what is in state law. That, so the question that I have for him essentially is that if I get the tickets sorted out right, ahead of this being brought before a town meeting, and one of you were to say, write a ticket for $150, which law takes precedence? Because theoretically, you haven't decided to give a fine, so you're fined by state law. It's not a part of your bylaw, but the town's law says you can do up to 300.
Yeah, I think we're smarter to follow what the DEP does.
Right, the 100.
Well, and again, it's per day, per violation,
Right,
ad nauseum.
right.
So, if there's an issue, we would be wise to follow that kind of schedule. This one would seemingly be up for subject to a challenge, if for no other reason than they'd say, well, hold on a sec. I read the wetland bylaw.
Right.
I have no reason to expect more than $100 a day fine.
Yeah, and then
And then we have to fight it, and we have to pay for an attorney to go fight it, and blah, blah, blah.
right. And the other detail that I've got that needs to get clarified is that the L3 portion of the bylaws says that the Conservation Commission is the enforcing agent. It doesn't say the Conservation Commission or its agent. And so that language may preclude me from,
Writing a ticket.
bingo. So just an FYI that's also to be clarified. So that's all very exciting. I was pretty happy to see that because I was being flustered to Jess the other day about, I thought I had this right, and the first email I got back from town council was, you need to change your bylaw. And, then I had to be like, read what I said, like, here is the actual question, please. Anyway,
Oh, that's asking too much.
yeah.
When in doubt, town council sends the same email they sent to the last guy, so don't feel bad.
That's how it felt.
That's how it works.
The, what else is going on here? The other big deal is, Dave Murray. I spoke to him this week about the conservation restriction.
Yeah, great.
And he is happy to keep doing this. He's happy to be involved. His new lawyer has brought up a wrinkle, which I have brought to
Sorry.
Robert, which I have 2 different calls into the state on to get opinions. And essentially is that the paper trail says that this conservation restriction was going to go in 2008. Like, everything was done except signatures in the town. And it's going to end up potentially being quite a bit like what happened on Kings Hill with our, that easement wasn't something I signed up for. You're imposing an easement on me, I'm going to fuss. And that's the worry of this new lawyer, is that if we say backdate it and everybody signs something with the date 2008 on it, that if there were any property changes, that somebody will say, hey, that wasn't the way it was.
That wasn't on my deed when I bought it.
The alternative is that if we sign a new one that says 2016, what would happen if there are any violations that took place between 08 and 2016? And because there's a paper trail of 10 minus the actual CR.
How many properties are affected by the CR?
Honestly, I don't know if any are.
If I remember
I
correctly,
think it's just a patch
it was
of
all
woods.
off of them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't think any of the property owners own any of them.
Right.
I think that was part of the way they laid the lots out. So I appreciate what he's saying. What he may actually be saying is their land went to here, that was going to be the easement, and oh my goodness, now their lawn goes back there. And they're going to say, well, you can't take my lawn away, and the answer is going to be, you didn't own it anyway.
Even so, even so. And so I've got that question raised to Robert, and I'm checking with the state to see how they would take that. They've got a conservation restriction reviewer person actually in one of the offices in Boston, and the woman whose job it has been to like try to make this happen for the last 8 years. I've got a call into her as well, and I'll get back to them again next week.
Can I recommend that you pull the file out and just do a quick check? Because if the answer is what I remember, which is none of the conservation restriction applies to any of the purchased parcels, then this is all moot as far as I'm concerned. And if somebody is located in a piece of property that doesn't belong to them, that's an entirely different discussion.
That's a fair point. Good. And
Right? Isn't that what you remember?
I think that's a pretty good point.
I remember the ends of the properties, and I remember them being cut off, and the conservation restriction extending from the ends of the properties down to the resource area. I don't remember any of the parcels extending to the resource area with the idea that later on a conservation restriction would come along and take the property back. I don't remember that at all.
Well, I think the question is much more in line with the lawn. And if the CR wasn't in place and somebody put their lawn in,
On a property they didn't own, yes, that is an interesting question.
then they've got, they're trespassing and that's one issue, but they're not trespassing and violating a CR.
So let's start with, did they have the right to be there? Is there a legal question about where they are versus the CR? And if the answer is they bought a parcel that ended here and the CR started there, then we'll deal with the next one after that.
But anyway, that's where things are.
I'll give you an example. In Framingham, a couple bought a house back in 1977 on the end of a cul-de-sac. And they were told that their land abutted the conservation area that was behind them. And it turned out what they didn't know was that their lawn extended, better than half of their lawn was actually the conservation area. And so I got the "can't you people help me with this" phone call, because they're my in-laws. And then so the Conservation Commission, who at the time actually had 2 administrative people and an assistant in Framingham, which is a big town, came and put posts in the ground with signs on them that said conservation area beyond this point, and told Jerry that he wasn't allowed to mow the lawn back there anymore. Well, you want a kerfuffle.
Okay.
So,
don't mess with my lawn.
Yeah. And, oh, by the way, how many Christmas trees is that back there in the wetland? So anyway, at that point, all the Christmas trees got dragged out, and the lawn started to grow up, and that has to have been 5 years back now, and it is a sticking point like you wouldn't believe. However, there was no debate about the fact that the lawn didn't belong to them, the yard didn't belong to them, and it might be upsetting, but it's not yours. And that's a conversation I'm prepared to have with all the landowners up that area, because it's not yours, it's not yours.
Yeah.
You can have, as Gabe likes to say, you can have all the privacy you can afford. If you want it, buy it.
So yeah, we'll have updates on that. Next time. Also next time, we might have Mark Wetzel in. They want to talk about the dog park on Snake Hill Road.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I was telling him that they're actually in Natick putting in a dog park between 2 very large bodies of water, and they're further along in their planning and engineering, and I might be able to steal some plans from them and pass them on.
It would be great to have an example of what they're doing and be able to use that as a starting point.
Yeah, and they're gonna be well over-engineered because it's railroad, water, and then water on the other side. It's the bottom 2 pieces of constituent. I always trip over that. What else? Last week, you missed the presentation.
Gosh.
Which basically boils down to there's no scientific justification for a 25-foot no build or a 25-foot no disturb.
Who did the presentation?
NWRA and Merrimack.
Wait, say, and there's no justification?
There's justification for 100-foot, no.
Yeah, there's an ecological value
Right.
to a 100-foot no build, no disturb But when you go below 100 foot, 75 foot, 50 foot, 25 foot, there's no actual ecological reason for that. And they told the story about Rhode Island where 40 different towns picked up a 100 foot buffer. And there's, I guess, 100 towns in Rhode Island, I think she said, or give or take. And when that happened, the Rhode Island Builders Association got involved. And they're like, you people are crimping our business.
You people.
And the state looked into it. And in the end, the state said, actually, no, the towns are in the right, and we're going to adopt the same policy.
Was it the state of Rhode Island said this?
State of Rhode Island.
The whole state has a 100-foot no build now.
And the biggest no build in the Nashua River watershed is what, 75 feet somewhere? Which town? But basically, if you want to talk about wetland protection and talk about the science behind it, the no disturb, no build needs to be 100 feet.
I want the study.
I think I sent you a copy of it.
By email?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I send you? Look at your email, probably.
I don't
Did send
remember
out
that one. I just looked the other day. I don't remember that one, but I'll
It
look
was
again.
just an attachment and probably just presentation, bare minimum for body and text.
So basically what they're saying is all or nothing.
More or less. How shall we say, to minimize the blow to the development minded. They also pointed out a study, which they haven't given me yet, that said that for every half acre or square foot or something that you protect in a certain manner, you can actually say that's worth $27 saved on your water treatment bill for the town. Do you remember if it was, what, square acre, Jess, or?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Is that based on the fact that no house was built there that takes,
No.
what is that based on?
Primarily based on the water being pre-filtered before getting to the water body.
I see.
It's the protection of the watersheds and the.
So that you don't need to clean the runoff nearly to the
Yeah.
degree. And your natural sponge, even though now you didn't have a pavement, you didn't have a building that you put in, whether it was a driveway or road, whatever. Not only that, but leaving the ecosystem, it's an ecosystem service. So you maintain your ecosystem service and then you don't take it away, so you win twice. And they actually had a fiscal valuing of that they mentioned. And I'm looking forward to getting that in the email.
Interesting.
And
You had me right up until Rhode Island. Okay, please go on.
Which is kind of an interesting.
well, the studies were done in Vermont.
Like an oxymoron.
If they were done in Vermont, I'll wait, but with work done in Rhode Island.
No, the studies proving the 100 foot were done in Vermont. Rhode Island implemented
I see.
one town at a time until somebody took notice and brought the state in, and then the state said, "Oh, yes, good, we're going to do it too." So Rhode Island has implemented Vermont's work.
Interesting.
Yeah. And the piece that I gave you had a nice bullet point breakdown. It's a 4-pager. What else have we got? And then we need to put this poster thing to bed.
Yeah, the last I had, we have got pricing.
I
Right.
was looking at laminating.
And then you asked me to get pricing on laminating.
Yeah, because that sounded exciting.
Well, right, they don't do that.
Oh.
Kind of not an option. I can get it on nicer paper that is less likely to rip.
Sure, thicker paper.
Yeah, but probably the thing to do is if we're going to hang it up, it probably just needs to go in a frame anyway. So maybe the thing to do might be to approve a certain amount of money that I could spend on, say, the poster and the frame, and say, you're good for up to $100, or up to, if you want a fancy frame. I don't know.
Well, easy.
It depends on your artistic tastes here, but maybe something to that effect.
This is it. You're absolutely right. We're talking about 2 meetings to pick a frame. You understand that? That's not.
Yeah. We could drop this.
You could build one.
No.
Are you
No.
volunteering?
We could get beavers to help.
Bill has some very specific tastes in frames.
Simple.
Simple.
Do you want the
Black?
mat? Do you
Yeah.
want the boundary mat?
Do I want it matted?
I wouldn't mat it.
No.
I don't think I'd mat it. That just looks like we're just.
Because then you have to make it
Blowing
bigger.
our money.
You have to make it bigger.
All right, nice simple black. Maybe
Black.
a 1-inch
Looks-
boundary.
Looks just like the Town of
What did-
Ayer Green Community Award designation on July 19th, 2011. Brian, I wish I could express to you how many hours have been spent going over wording on stuff.
Oh, I believe you, because one of the things I'm doing upstairs in my mounds of free time that I have is, trying to recraft the orders of conditions and, make them a little, oh, come on. The long-term goal that I want to try to do is to actually assign every condition a unique value so that I can map them. So that theoretically you could see every property in town that has X, Y, or Z condition in place perpetually. And it's a whole project, it's a whole process. Much like hanging a picture.
He had those in his pocket.
Actually, no, he had it on his belt, technically.
His belt.
The camera's still rolling.
That's fine.
They gotta know who to come look for.
It's Takashi.
Walk away slowly. Don't breathe on it.
All right.
Hopefully, I'm down to the last major piece of OOC updating, where I'm pulling from the meeting in the fall from MAC, where they presented, how to do wetland replication order of conditions, and I'm trying to get those sorted out.
Yeah,
So-
we had, our boilerplate was really Becky for probably 2 years, tightening up and using lessons learned.
Mhm.
If there are other lessons learned that we can incorporate, it would be fantastic.
Yeah, and trying to pull those in, and there's a few orders that probably are being a little bit greedy and might be, something I'm gonna have to back down on, like, no invasive plant may be used, and then I give the list for invasive plants in Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, Ontario, Quebec. That might be on the excessive side, but
Well,
you want to make sure things in Ontario. If they're
seedlings,
invasive, they
you don't
come
know.
down.
These are,
Yeah.
these are birds that are flying back and forth.
So a big buffer of potential. It makes recognition on this long. But, we'll get there. So that'll be coming down, maybe in the next meeting, but more likely the one after.
That would be great.
I'll have something to show off, I hope. And I think that is... Yeah. Haven't heard anything from Hemlock about the 2 affidavits needed, one for the boulder wall. Haven't heard anything about that.
And you have a note to go after the folks from MWRA, from MBTA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I haven't heard anything about the guy driving over his wetland either.
Well, just remember our friend will be cleaning that up in the spring, so.
And Mr. Roper is off of the planning board.
Did he retire?
He moved.
He moved.
Yeah, and so right now they're in the process of refilling those seats, and technically right now,
Seats, how many seats are there?
2.
Yeah, they had another vacancy anyways.
Oh,
Yeah, and technically at the moment,
Another?
Mr. Roper is still occupying his seat, even though he's not taking part in the meetings, and so they're trying to work it out because they have 2 people who want to apply, and right now they only have a single open seat to apply to. Even though Rick's on his way out, he's not out fast enough to make it so that the seats would be non-competitive.
Why is he not out that fast?
Technicalities of paperwork.
then you did it. Next.
No, that was actually an afterthought in my head.
No, that's perfect.
That's the whole line.
Thank you very much.
Did you know remember I showed you that job description for sort of administrator?
Oh, yeah.
They're,
You want to tell the story?
they've been interviewing. I
10
believe-
outside candidates.
Yeah, and 2 inside, and
No, one inside,
2,
one. That's what Jane told me, they only had
Hold
one.
on,
2.
the
I
point
know there were
is,
two, but
Wait,
you
did
didn't
you-
count as one.
so the point is,
So they're going to be actually hire somebody who would theoretically also
support us.
support us,
Mhm.
so, but report to Robert.
Mhm.
I'm sure we'll find out eventually.
It is interesting, so we have nothing in
Um,
writing from Robert about the position or anything else.
No. Also, I think, are they still planning on switching your office around?
They, I
Moving it
think,
to
wanted
where
to
Sue
finish the
Sullivan?
job
Yeah.
with the hiring,
Yeah.
and then the next job upstairs is to move everything around.
Which would, something Becky always wanted is, to get in the back corner, not that front.
Yeah, we're gonna try to open it up like the other side of the room,
Yeah.
so that theoretically, if people come over and hang out, there's actually somewhere where you can sit and talk to somebody.
Well, and it also makes sense to
Yeah.
put the person who's there full-time at the front,
Yeah,
you know.
When we were talking about Sandy Pond 3, CPC, when we met last week, we had also, Janet brought up, in some context, or somebody brought up, but actually with Kohler Place?
Yeah.
Might have been Beth. The area that's supposed to be the conservation restriction there, and this being a new owner, no longer the Callahans, that's maybe something we should start following up on, is pressuring so that we don't have a conservation restriction that was agreed to that suddenly disappears down the road.
Well, maybe the way to do it is to, so have they started foundations?
No.
Okay.
But they have the road in there, the infrastructure, so.
So maybe the thing to do is to start by sending them, so let's pull the paperwork together and send them a letter that reminds them that their project was approved based upon the conservation restriction, and that, they need to get going with it, and that we should probably copy in the building inspector
Yeah.
and say, looking forward to your paperwork prior to occupancy.
Yeah. Okay, so that's something that Brian, I shouldn't.
No, but the place to start
Yeah.
is to pull the paperwork together.
Yeah,
You can probably help Brian with that if that's
yeah.
yeah.
only because we'll have to dig back in the old file to find it.
And when am I getting these minutes? Because there's lots of stuff in there that you're copying down.
I probably will do them by the end of this weekend.
I do them on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Why
yeah.
not?
Yeah, I'm not doing anything. Rub it in.
Not doing anything Sunday either. Sunday's the day off.
Yeah. Yeah, so that, it occurred to me that's something we should probably
Mm-hmm.
move on to.
Start disrupting their world with.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's, Janet's inviting Sophocles into our April meeting. The Parks and Rec looked at that property and they thought it looked attractive, but it'd be very costly to do anything with.
It's a
And-
dog park at best, unfortunately, or a walking path.
Well, it
But
would cost over $100,000 to do anything of recreational value.
But it would
On
come
the
in
other hand-
handy if the property
Right.
behind in it
On
was
the
a
other
stepping
hand,
stone.
they
Yeah.
wouldn't mind getting it.
of course not.
But, and then there's this little, the teeny little corner lot next to Rogers Street off West Main that has a for sale sign now.
Oh,
House
yeah,
was-
the
House
one
was taken down by.
by the gentleman who,
Yeah, 78 Sandy Pond Road. And Parks and Rec took a look at that, and actually, apparently they said they want both properties ideally, but if they had to pick, they'd pick that one over the Sophocles.
Mm.
what are they
it
going to
would-
do with it?
It could make it like a little neighborhood playground,
I was going to say, there's not enough room for.
but it's clear that it would be very inexpensive to do something with.
Not level though.
Yeah, it is.
It is?
That
Level
little
enough,
lot
apparently.
on West Main Street.
Oh, the West Main.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, okay.
No,
And it's
Yeah,
clear.
that's
yeah.
not.
Yeah, no, yeah, the
Yeah.
West Main. Yeah.
So at any rate, I think we're sort of out of the picture. So
I wish, it's too bad that so far we've had, 4 or 5 people approach us, and really only one was a parcel that really worked, which was Tooker.
yeah,
Nothing else has really been, including the wood parcel that we talked about tonight.
yeah. Although I do think Kohler Place would have worked. it would have been a valuable one to get because of the stream, but
Yeah.
that fell through with, thanks to,
Other reasons.
gas.
Um,
And we never got a number, did we?
When we got to, yeah, eventually we got to the point where we had an appraised value and met with Ed Cornelier, and here was a number we could offer this. And that was when they had the other buyer who,
Thought he could buy it for more.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah. So that's it for now.
He wasn't planning on buying a porta potty.
Sandy Pond School Association's having a public hearing at our next CBC meeting
I saw
for
that.
funding for conditions assessment. Okay, go.
Nothing.
Mark Wetzel, do we want to meet with him next week in terms of sort of assessing? Oh, did I skip? Did I skip again?
No.
No, I'd let you know.
Yeah,
What?
no, just fill them in on meeting about what? Oh, they
Oh,
weren't
Phil,
here.
because he
Yeah.
wasn't here.
Right, nor was George.
Sorry. So we weren't here. I can't, how did it begin? Oh, so I got a quote for water testing.
Oh, I saw that,
Okay.
70-some tests, 72 tests or
Yeah,
something?
Yeah, and there's another one hopefully coming from Neshoba Analytical. I have to go over there and figure out why they haven't sent it.
They're right down the street.
I know. I just have to take a morning off and drive over there. I have two quotes. But then I met Mark, and Mark had mentioned having the ability to do some testing, and I was not quite sure what testing he was referring to.
Well, he's going to be in next meeting?
Maybe, like, you know, the dog park thing, he'd like to get in and have a chat, but, you know, he was gonna be in tonight, and then he bumped it,
Yeah.
so.
No, that's perfect. Why don't we combine it?
Yeah, but it would be nice for, you know, a couple of us to go there to just see what they can do within their
Well, why don't we
facility.
They have a
do
boat.
it after?
And they have a boat.
Yeah. Why don't we do that after we've talked to him here, because then other things
Okay.
might come up that then
Perfect,
will give
They
us
have a vote?
anything.
What?
perfect.
Who is a vote?
They have a boat.
They have a
They have a
boat.
boat. They bought a
BOA.
Oh,
boat.
a boat.
They bought a
Oh,
boat.
a boat.
They boat, yep, they bought a boat.
Yeah.
I did not, did they? Huh.
Did they?
No, that's from Phineas and Ferb. You'll understand soon. So,
No, by the time that comes around, there'll be something new.
God, I hope not. Phineas and Ferb was awesome.
Think about it, Goonies, takes a while to notice that, like, you have to watch the Goonies to be a child, and, you know, there are kids growing up nowadays who have not seen the Goonies.
Or Uncle Buck.
And think the Goonies are real.
Oregon's real.
So is it Griffith. All right, so we can, we'll bring that up with Mark. I think that's a good idea. And, you know, quite frankly, as fun as it would be to go see the lab equipment, I just need him to tell me what he's got, so I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
I just want to understand what,
yeah,
because it's
yeah. But there might be some.
a
thing-
magic box you pour water into and hit a button. So.
Right, but there might be, he might have some lab equipment that, so there might be a method or an assay that can be done on his lab equipment.
If that's possible.
Right, so I need to see what he has, and then I can say, oh, you can do X, Y, and Z with this piece of equipment.
I gotcha.
Ronnie wants
And
it
the
too.
show
So really, the
I wanna
secret of
see
it
what he
is
has.
you want to know what he's
I
got.
want to see.
And I'm happy to go with that.
Let's just wrap that all up in a con combo.
Yes, right, and the Merrimack, so I can't remember the woman's name.
Me neither.
So they have the ability to train,
Yeah, Carolee,
Carolee
Us.
Shumway.
or, you know, us,
or volunteers.
or volunteers to do the water quality
For a
testing.
fee, though, they charge for that.
Right,
Yeah,
the
well,
fee is for the chemicals. Basically, they're charging for material.
Oh, so in other words,
But they can-
come learn how to test, and it's $7 because we have to use this stuff.
Yeah, they've
Yeah,
got gear,
yeah.
and they're
Good gear.
willing to loan the gear and help us learn how to use it,
Which would be
but
pretty
they
cool.
won't fund, you know, the pool of chemicals that you need to use to do the work.
That would be our responsibility down the road.
Also, the NRWA has a program of volunteers that goes out and does river sampling.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So, I mean, they may be able to give some tips on
yeah,
how to do things.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think if we want to get going on this, we should have the first test in May, would be in the spring. just to start it, would be May and then July and then either September, October, November. something
Yeah,
like
but
that.
May's when you start.
Yeah, May would be when we start.
What if it would matter if like you missed May and you start in June? That would be bad.
Well, if you want
Well,
to,
It wouldn't be
it
good.
wouldn't be
it'd less
bad,
good.
but it would be less good.
It'd be less
You
good.
wouldn't have the data quality.
So, at this point, the best thing to do is to find out what Mark can do. I love the idea of having the quotes. And maybe
Yeah.
it makes sense to just pay for some other company to do it for the first year just to get started while we figure out what to do next.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, let's face it,
yeah.
we can often in small towns wait extraordinary amounts of time for people or attorneys to get back to us because they work in a different mentality than people who are like, no, we have to get this done in the spring. So,
I think if there's a will, there's a way. You
well,
know,
especially if we could purchase ahead 72 tests using the funding we have.
this year.
Bill comes in, pay the bill. Get a year's worth of tests.
You
But
just
I'm
gotta
big.
figure out how much money actually is in that pot that's currently unaccounted for.
Well, that's
Yeah,
something that they're
yeah.
supposed to be able to
Right. That's an easy enough number to get.
instantaneous.
Speaking of which, actually, do you guys want to make any kind of motion or something to say, Brian, go spend up to this much money, or should I just bring you back the receipts?
Oh, well, can we agree on $150? That seem fair? I want the black frame, no matting.
What if they only have gray?
And you're done. We agreed on a color. You have no idea how hard this kind of thing can normally be.
There's no way they don't have black.
I can go shopping for you, Brian.
Hey, glass in front or not?
Oh my goodness.
And what kind of glass do you want?
Glass.
Bulletproof.
Do you want?
You know the glass that came on Batman's car? So
Ooh.
what would make the most sense is that it would have glass, not plastic, on the front because the plastic scratches and
Mm-hmm.
looks like crap after 2 years.
Do you want museum quality glass?
Are you pooping me?
Archival paper.
You don't want the sun to, ruin
To be
Brian's
fair,
beautiful.
this poster where it's going to hang never sees the sun.
Okay.
How
If we
big
take
is
it
it?
on tour, that's another story.
How big is it?
I'm gonna get the biggest print I can, which I think is something in like the this big by this big category. It's like 56 by 48 or something.
Wow.
I would accept a motion to approve the expenditure of $150 or less for the purchase, creation, and fabrication of the poster-sized map and black frame with glass, not museum
So
quality.
moved.
Did you, wait a minute.
I
It
bet
seems
that's
like too little
150.
money to me.
So how big are we talking?
I-
Are we talking a B,
Yeah, you're
D
talking
size is
about
what, 36 by
large.
24? No, that's C size, right? C is 36 by 24.
No, D is.
Is it D?
plus.
Yeah. So,
It's like 48 by 56 or something in that vein.
That's
And the
pretty
poster is
big.
like $35 by itself.
just 35 bucks for the poster?
Okay.
I think we're in the ballpark.
I mean, with tax, it might be like 38.14.
I bought a National Geographic map. It's this big. right?
Yeah, no. Henry
Yeah.
was the same one.
And I framed, I think it was like $175.
Which is why I told him to use the sticky stuff that you put behind stuff with architects.
Mm.
That sounds like you got a frame though, or like you went to a real frame store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're probably not going to find one off the shelf.
No, not for that.
I don't know. Some of the like Michaels. Don't forget, I live in Natick.
Oh, no. I'm
I
well
can
aware
tell.
of the shopportunities that you face.
Yeah.
I do 200.
Yeah.
I would do 200.
All right. So, because as soon as we say 200, it's silly not to, 250.
That's good.
Puts us in the ballpark, gets that $175 frame with the $38 piece underneath it, and the real glass, which we know you didn't pay for.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye to 250?
Aye.
Aye to 250. I can't believe none of you went with it. Is there anything else? Did you?
Motion to adjourn?
Oh.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.